Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our fathers going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Do you know your history? Yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah.
Hey, shalom. Welcome back, y'all, to Our Hidden History Radio. I'm Deacon Athan, and to my left,
Captain Joel.
to my right,
Officer Jezreel.
Officer Laquan.
and we're back with another episode of Our Hidden History. We're going into Bering Strait. I have not forgotten about the Bering Strait.
I'm gonna keep on touching on it. So we're gonna go
Continue where we left off.
Continue where we left off.
Where we're at. We're gonna go to that book.
We're gonna go to that book. The View.
And I want page 115.
Page 115. I ended on page 115.
So let's start. Let's begin
let's
with
start.
that.
Let's begin with that. Let's start with that.
Page 115.
Page
And I
115.
went there. I forgot why
I went there. I forgot why I went there. And I
That's
read
why.
it again. So okay.
This is we were talking about how the Native Americans they claim the Native Americans that lying bastard Jose de Acosta or Joseph Acosta, the Jesuit, who created that Bering Strait nonsense, claims that the Native Americans, at least the ones he encountered,
You have an issue with the audio.
didn't write. They can't hear me? Make sure I can hear me. We'll be here for you. So we all listen to your reading your comments. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2.
It's good now.
I'm good. We're good. All right. So, as I was saying, Jose de Acosta or Joseph Acosta, the Jesuit priest, he's the one that pushed that whole Bering Strait nonsense that I dealt with last week. Hopefully, I'll finish it off this week, and that'll be the end of that. So let's go to page 115 on the View. All right, we're gonna start from Dr. Bodnat. That name comes up a lot in other books I've used, and it's very common in this book. So we're gonna start up Dr. and that given. Who's reading for me?
I got it.
Yes, I'll read that.
Yeah.
Dr. Boudinot gives it as from good authority that the Indians have a
So
tradition
the Indians have a tradition. Watch this.
that the book which the white people have was once theirs.
That the book which the white people have, the Bible, was once theirs. The Bible was once theirs. Watch this.
That while they had this book,
While they had the book in their possession, go ahead.
things went well with them.
We were doing good. Keeping the commandments, we were doing good. Go ahead.
They prospered exceedingly,
And we had a kingdom. We prospered exceedingly. Go ahead.
but that other people got it from them.
But then other people got our book from us. Don't that sound familiar? Revelation 2 and 9. Saying they stole our book. The Greeks took our book and whitewashed the images in there. Let's get that real quick. Hold on to that. Get 1 Maccabees real quick. 1 Maccabees 3:48. Real quick. And other people got it from them.
The book of First Maccabees.
I got it.
3:48.
The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 48. And laid open the book of the law.
They open the what?
The book of the law.
That's the Bible. The book of the law. The book of the law. Go ahead.
Wherein the heathen has sought to paint the likeness of their images.
And whitewash and put themselves in the book, made themselves the Christians, made themselves the Jews, made themselves the saints, made themselves God, made themselves the Messiah, made themselves the angels, the Heavenly Father. So the Native Americans are telling the white explorers and visitors there that the Bible that the white man brought to them on this side of the world, we had it first. We always had it. Go back to that book now. Read again.
But that other people got it from them. That the Indians lost their credit.
They lost the credit given to them that the book was theirs. We lost credit to a book that belonged to us. Oh no, that's a white man's book. We lost our credit. Now it's a white man's book. When before it was our book. Go ahead.
Offended the Great Spirit.
And we offended the Lord, the Great Spirit, who they refer to as Yehovah, Yahweh. Some of y'all say Yahuwah. Some of y'all say Yahweh, Jehovah. We offended the Great Spirit. Go ahead.
And suffered exceedingly from the neighboring nations.
And got put in captivity. This is a Native American telling the white man this.
Dick, that's
Yes, sir.
Judith 5.
Huh?
That's Judith 5:17.
That's Judah 5. Yes, Judah
One
5.
that's not before their God.
Right, we read that last week. Judah 5.
17.
Right. Get this it there. Get 2 Maccabees 8:36. 2 Maccabees 8:36. Because the heathens the Ammonite told General Holophanes that about us in Judith. We're going to read if that thought changed in the Maccabees. 2 Maccabees 8:36 regarding a man named, what was his name? Heliodorus. The angels gave him a beat down. They gave him a beat down to the point of death.
Divine
A
whipping.
divine whipping. Go ahead.
The book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 8, verse 36.
Watch this.
Thus he that took upon him to make good to the Romans their tribute by means of the captives in Jerusalem, told abroad that the Jews had a God to fight for them, and therefore they could not be hurt, because they followed the laws that he gave them.
That's it. See that? So we follow the laws of God that he gave us. You don't get hurt. But we go against that book, we get problems. That's why he said they suffered exceedingly from the neighboring nations. So go back to it again.
Says, but that other people got it from them, that the Indians lost their credit, offended the Great Spirit, and suffered exceedingly from the neighboring nations.
Yeah, well, the white man, in that instance, the white man. The British, the Dutch, the French. Go ahead.
And that the Great Spirit then took pity on them and directed them to this country.
Go ahead. That's what happened. So he's telling you what happened, how they went into captivity under the Babylonians, under the Assyrians, and then under Persia, they had liberty to come over here. We're going to get that. We're going to get that. The Most High had mercy on us to return from our lands of captivity during the Persian captivity. That's what he's referring to. And gave them mercy to come over here and keep their laws over here that they weren't keeping in their other land. That's what Dr. Bordenat is telling us, that this set of Native Americans came around the time of the Persian liberation. Watch, I'm going to prove it to y'all. Go ahead.
There can be no doubt, but God did, by his special providence, direct them to some sequestered region of the world
America. Go ahead.
for the reasons which have been already given.
Yeah, because God gave them mercy and allowed them to come over here and keep their commandments over here. That's what he said. He says gives from good authority. Whose authority? The Native Americans told them. So y'all keep on doubting the Native Americans. I have fun. Get page 264. 264. You have it.
I do. Oh yeah.
Yeah, this book is ridiculous, man.
Yo, you should
This
read
book
that
is.
book.
I can spend a whole
Yeah, I got that.
days. You have it.
I got that already.
So I'm gonna ask at the end of the show to donate to the Captain Jarrell Fund.
Nah, I'm waiting for another book you mentioned.
Oh God.
So, in other words, keep donating.
All right, man. Page 264. From whence their
You got
idea?
that, right? I don't have that.
No, I don't have
You don't have it. Oh, that's your fault.
Oh wow. Get whence their ideas? Whence their ideas?
All right.
The selfishness, man. The selfishness. Whence their ideas are gonna stop at some time.
Whence their ideals that their ancestors once had the book of God.
Once it says whence or where's is the ideas that their ancestors once had the book of God. Thank you. The book of God. Go ahead.
And then were happy,
And we were happy keeping the commandments. Go ahead.
but that they lost it
And we lost that book. Go ahead.
and then became miserable.
And went into slavery. Go ahead.
But that they will have this book again at some time.
We have it now. We got it back. So the Native Americans knew they told the white man this. When the white man converted them over and gave them English and so forth, and they taught the Native Americans, whether in Spanish, whether in French or in English, they told the white man these things.
Remember,
verbatim.
Remember in the two promised lands, deacons. I think it's on page 340 something.
Yeah.
When it talks about when he says, "And our brothers," something like that, will come bringing good tidings
That's
to the
Judah,
land.
right.
Judah.
Yep.
So that's what he's talking about.
Yep.
We're gonna get our book back.
Right, because Judah will bring it over. Get page 140. No, I read that already. Get page. Get Sirach 42 and 7.
The book of Sirach, chapter 42, verse 7. Deliver all things in number and weight, and put all in writing that thou givest out or receivest in.
Our forefathers put things in writing. That's what we're reading. What they said. They had these things in writing. They had everything in writing. Give me First Maccabees 13:42. Israel always put things in writing. We always put things in writing, whether on stone, whether we wrote it, we wrote it in stone or in a tablet or on parchment, called the parchment paper. We wrote things down, all right, or etched it in stone. We always had things written down or burned into parchment, like we did in Africa also. Go ahead, read that.
First Maccabees chapter 13, verse 42.
Uh-huh.
Then the people of Israel began to write in their instruments and contracts.
You begin to do what?
Write in the instruments and contracts.
So we had pens and paper. We begin to write in our instruments and contracts. Go ahead.
In the first year of Simon, the high priest, the governor and leader of the Jews.
So that's it for that verse?
Yes, sir.
That's all I want. We wrote things in instruments and contracts. We had put things in writing. Marriages, births, lineages, divorces, laws, statutes, sub-laws. We had everything in writing. We had our own city hall, our own courthouses. We had all these things. And likewise, when we came to this side of the world, the same thing continued. We were walking around, unga bunga, I'm a caveman, I may throw a spear.
Deacon, that's the issue right there. Black people still think that white people civilized blacks.
Yep, that's
they
their
think
thing.
that we didn't have some type of infrastructure, no government system set up. Or like I said, we didn't have file, we didn't have records.
Right.
So when we look at black history, true black history in our mind started when the white man came
Right.
and colonized us.
And to further that thought, Cap, you also have Negroes that think, Israelites that think that the Native Americans came to this side of the world in rowboats. They just had big canoes.
And cloths.
And
And
cloths
leaves
and
and stuff like
loincloths.
that. Yeah,
They just so
naked.
dumb
Right.
and so stupid they couldn't build a ship because the white man's ships is better. Only they can come over here. Native Americans, no. Okay.
I'm trying to remember the book called The Holocaust. They wrote that when the conquistadors came over here, Ponce de Leon, them came over here. They said we have prosperous cities, but even on our streets, we had sweepers. Just like America has cleaners today, we had sweepers on the streets that every day you have people hired just to clean the streets, make sure it's clean. We have beautiful buildings and infrastructures. We didn't dwell in teepees and stuff like that. No,
we had houses.
We had houses.
We had water aqueducts, waterways going all through the city, entering into the city, washing water, bathing
a
water.
sophisticated system.
We had a whole built system.
Advanced.
Esau
Advanced.
stole it. Esau learned it from us.
We had mint, gum. We
All
had
of
all
that.
of
We
that.
had all of that.
So we think that the issue is because of modern technology. We didn't have technology back then.
We did.
We have some form of technology. They even says where the with the Mayan temples and Inca temples, and they have like the stones just set up. They said, why is there stone set up? They said there's like a electric magnetic force that's connected to the pyramids, and that's some type that conducts some type of electricity.
Yeah.
I saw a series on it.
Ancient aliens.
Yeah,
They showed
okay,
that
I didn't
ancient
see that
aliens.
one on that one, but it was an actual document on the Aztecs. They said with the temple and the position of the stones that they were actually able to electricity.
And inside some of them, they saw mercury. That was supposed to create some kind of light inside the tunnels.
Right, they call it ancient aliens because the white man tries to mystify it. Yeah, aliens came and gave them technology.
right.
They're too dumb to do it on their own. So
And we had toilets.
Right, and aliens came and gave them wisdom.
Right.
Because they're so dumb and they're so savage, it's impossible for them to be intelligent enough to build these things on their own. The
They
pyramids in Egypt, the mathematics behind that, Esau cannot copy it
replicate
to
it.
this day. And them same pyramids in Egypt, they found the same ones built like them over here in the Americas, built the same way.
And the same ancient aliens, right? They were showing you like the motherboard for the computer. They modeled it after the Mexican Mayans pyramid. So somehow the way they had the civilization set up, they used the same kind to do the motherboard of a computer.
Wow.
Somehow I was like baffled when I saw it.
Right.
And they show you inside the motherboard the same way they had the pyramid. stand up, and then they had different routes. It was crazy.
Yeah, the Mayans, they're showing the map. They're showing the when you look at the map, when the way how Issachar mapped out the temples,
Right.
it's all in line with the sun, the stars, and stuff
Right.
like
Right.
that. There's a reason why they did that, they said.
They had a city in Mexico City now today. It's called Tenochtitlan. City built on water, where you had to take 3 waterways to get to the city.
Damn.
Built on water.
Right, and remember,
Sick.
Captain Isaac had brought out how the natives on this side of the world were in contact with beings that gave them wisdom and so forth. And I think it's so the Chariots of Black, either part 1 or part 2, and how they were related to those beings that came over here and educated them. Those are not aliens. Those are
our
the
brothers.
angels of God. Those are our brothers in heaven. That's what that was, talking to them.
Right, D. We called
gave
them
them-
star people.
We call them star people, yes. And then Esau made a movie called Stargate, copying it and making mockery of it. All right, so that goes into Captain Isaac's class, The Chariots of God Are Black. A very good series
Excellent
there, part
series,
1 and 2. I better watch that. So get page 80. We're gonna start from the main. I underlined it. It says the main pillar. The main pillar, and we're gonna end at Babylonian on page 81. All right, the view. Page 80 and 81. Just to further go into how I mentioned throughout the series so far from part 1 how our forefathers, the Native Americans, and the pre-Aztec, Inca, and Mayan civilizations arrived here around Solomon's time during his voyages and so forth over here. And then later on, we came in waves. We came over here also during the time we received liberation of the Persian captivity under King Cyrus. I'm going to prove that now. Like I said I was. So we're going to read from here, the main pillar.
All right, blow it up.
Got it.
Officer. Okay, go.
Yep. You'll see the main pillar.
The main pillar of his evidence is James Adair.
That goes back to what Captain Joel was saying earlier about James Adair. Go ahead.
Mr. Adair was a man of established character, as appears from good authority. He lived a trader among the Indians
For many, many years. Go ahead, and observed them for many, many years and wrote things down. Go ahead.
in the south of North America for 40 years. He left them and returned to England in 1774.
So we were still slaves during this time he was doing this. Go ahead.
and there published his history of the American Indians.
It's a book, History of the American Indians, where he goes into detail how they are beyond a shadow of a doubt the children of Israel. Go ahead.
And his reasons for being persuaded that they are the 10 tribes of Israel.
Go ahead.
Remarking on their descent and origin, he concludes thus: from the most accurate observations I could make in the long time I traded among the Indians, the Indian Americans, I was forced to believe them lineally descended from the Israelites.
Yep. Go ahead.
Had the 9 tribes and a half of Israel that were carried off by Shalmaneser and settled in Media continued there long. It is very probable by intermarrying with the natives and from their natural fickleness and proneness to idolatry.
Hold on. So he says, and they settled in Media, continued there long. It is very probable that by intermarrying the natives of those lands, the Medes, that's Japheth. And you examine Japheth will be the Hawaiians today, the Samoans, the Tahitians. If you look at their faces, they have the long hair, the eyes, and we intermingled with them during the long time we were placed in that land. Go ahead, watch this.
From their natural fecalness and proneness to idolatry.
And we also would partake in the practices of the heathens that we intermarried with. Go ahead.
And also from the force, from the force of example,
The Bible, go ahead.
that they would have adopted and bowed before the gods of Media and Assyria,
We did intermingle with the Assyrians and Medes. Watch this.
and would have carried them along with them.
And we would have brought those customs along with us on this side of the world. Watch this.
But there is not a trace of this idolatry among the Indians.
The ones he encountered. Go ahead.
Mr. Adair gives his opinion that the 10 tribes, soon after their banishment from the land of Israel, left Media,
Left where?
Media,
Left Media. Go ahead.
and reached this continent from the northwest,
And reached this continent from the northwest. Go ahead.
probably before the carrying away of the Jews to Babylon.
Probably before the going away of the Jews to Babylon. Probably that's his estimation. But they came actually after Babylon. They came after that. Okay? Now, Get page 99. Page 99. I'm going to show you. Page 99, and we're going to start at the Peruvians. And we're going to end at page 100, the fact. I'm going to show y'all when they came. You got to put the pieces together. So his estimate is that they came before Babylon. They came after Babylon.
The Peruvians.
And the reason why he didn't see idolatry among them is because, remember, it says that they would keep the laws of God in this land. They didn't keep in their own law. They didn't keep in their own land, in Esdras. So the ones he encountered were keeping the commandments, the Gadites, because those are the ones that were defeated last. Those are the ones that maintained righteousness the longest, that played the role of the lawgiver. I brought this out weeks ago. Go ahead.
The Peruvians have been spoken of as paying adoration to the sun.
The Peruvians, that'd be the Incas. Go ahead.
And as receiving their race of Incas
the Peruvians and Incas are the same people, descendants. Go ahead, watch this.
as children of the sun.
And they call themselves children of the sun. Watch this.
In their succession of 12 monarchies.
In their succession of 12 monarchs.
Royalty.
12 monarchies. Incas, that'd be Atahualpa on them. Watch this.
The Indians have had much of an
apprehension, it should say, page 100.
Apprehension that their one great spirit.
That their what?
One great spirit.
So they believe in the great spirit also. Yah or Yehovah, same thing, go ahead.
Had a great affinity to fire.
Because remember it says in the Bible that, what's that, Daniel 7, about fire around him? Mm-hmm. He's a consuming fire. Give me that scripture real quick. How the Lord is a consuming fire. I forgot where it's written.
Consuming fire.
It's been a while.
Not Daniel's. Talk about his temple had a fiery throne.
That too, but it says he's a consuming fire also. That's why they worship the sun.
Deuteronomy 4:24.
Is that it?
That's it? Yeah, that's it. That's it. Thank you. Deuteronomy 4:24.
Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 24. For the Lord thy God is a consuming fire, even a jealous God.
Get Hebrews 12:29. The Lord thy God is a consuming fire, even a jealous God. Meaning he's fierce, he's wrathful like fire is. Hebrews 12:29. Let's see if that thought changed.
Hebrews chapter 12, verse 29.
Uh-huh.
For our God is a consuming fire.
That's where Paul got it from. A consuming fire. So they brought that thought to this side of the world also. But they took him and said he's the sun. Because God is a consuming fire. So they said our God is the sun. He's the creator of the sun, not the sun itself. So go ahead. Apprehension that their God, that their great spirit, what?
Had a great affinity to fire.
They had a great affinity to fire. Go ahead.
And the Peruvians, it seems, went so far as to embody him in the sun.
They were convinced that he was in the sun. Rather than him being the creator of the sun, they said he is the sun, or the sun is him. Watch this.
Here seems a shred of mixture of the Persian idolatry.
Remember what James Adair said. The North American Indians he encountered weren't into idolatry. This is South America. These guys were. Read it again.
Here seems a shred of mixture of the Persian idolatry.
Of the what?
Persian idolatry.
Here seems a shred of mixture of the Persian idolatry. Go ahead.
With the theocracy of Israel.
With the theocracy or God rulership of Israel. Theocracy means God rulership. Theos, God, for C. So God's government of ruler of Israel. So they mixed the two. Go ahead.
As the more ancient Israelites caught a degree of the idolatrous distemper of Egypt, as appears in their golden calf, so the 10 tribes, the time they resided in Media.
Where?
In Media.
Where?
In Media.
In Media. Go ahead.
And before they set off for America.
Before they came here, what they do?
May have blended some ideal of fire with their one God.
Boom. There you go. Letting you know that they brought customs of Media to this side of the world. And mixed it with their God, along with idolatry of Persia, sun god worship and so forth, and Egypt as well. That's where they got it from. They brought their Persian idolatrous practices to this side of the world. How? Because they came after they were in Persian captivity. That's how. Some came prior, some came after that. That's what James Adair said what he said. They may have come before Babylon. He's right. Some came during Solomon's time, before Babylon, and some came after Babylon. Like the Incas here. Now, let's get Atkinson's casket. It don't matter because that book is hard to get. I said that. She just said it. That's all right. Page 115. I already said it.
So last week doesn't count then. This.
Yeah, I done effed up.
Yo, I'm like this. What?
Why'd I say that?
Wait, can I afford it?
But Deacon, it's okay because
I didn't say. I didn't say what. Yeah, I didn't say
you
what
can't
one.
just put that in and get
and
that
get
book.
it right. Page,
But the white man can.
Get page 115.
Yo, Jess,
Don't
you
put
got, Thinking, what did you just do?
nothing. Get page 115.
He's good. He's good, Cap.
We good. We're good money. We're good. We're
Yo,
good.
you got it, Jess?
I'm on my way to, All right. Page 115.
Page 115.
What are we reading? Deep various.
Yeah, the blue highlights. How old is this book? How old is this book again? The year?
Oh man, this book is early 1800s. Early 1800s.
We was in slavery.
18. I think it's around 1847, somewhere around there. Various kinds of coins have been found in many parts of our land.
Various kinds of coin. Our land means America. Various kinds of coins have been found in our land. Go ahead.
These, like the implements of iron, were lost or deposited in remote periods from each other. Those which the Europeans gave the natives are but little effaced by time and rust. Those brought here by the first settlers from Asia
Of the East, Asia. They say Asia either referring to Asia, that barren straight nonsense, or the East. Go ahead.
are much more defaced.
A much older, more defaced, right? Is it defaced?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Much more
'Cause
defaced.
they're older. Go ahead.
And are of a very different stamp.
Very different stamp. The coins that Native Americans had before the white man introduced their coins, the Native Americans' coins were more defaced, meaning more older, more aged, and had a very different stamp. Watch this.
Some of these have the old Persian stamp.
Why would the Native Americans have coins with Persian stamps on it? Why would they have that on their coins? Where'd they get them from? Go ahead.
And others have characters upon them, which none have been able to decipher or explain. How came the old Persian coin to be scattered over the plains of America and buried in the tumuli of the Aborigines of the land?
And buried in their land. Go ahead.
There can be but one answer to this question. They must have been brought here by the first settlers, who must have had communication with the ancient Persians. And what people except the Phoenicians and Jews had intercourse with the Persians at so remote a period
in
of
the
the world.
That's how you know. That's how you know. The Native Americans brought Persian coins with them to the side because they came at that time. I showed you that in 2 different books. Showing you that they came during the time King Cyrus gave us liberty to return to Jerusalem. Northern Kingdom said, nah, we're not going back over there. We're going to go to a land never mankind dwelt, and we're going to conduct our business there, keep the commandments there. That's why James Adair said, these North American Indians, I saw no idolatry among them, but there was among them. I showed you among the Incas, there was a mixture of both following the Bible and Persian idolatry. Among Gad, there wasn't with James Adair. There wasn't with them because they were the lawgivers. They maintained the highest level of righteousness among all natives on this side of the world. So they were the last to be conquered. The white man had a hard time with the North American Indians, the hardest time with them. Everybody else fell in line. Issachar got smashed. Incas, Mayans got smashed. But Gad was like, nah. Reuben was like, nah. He's going to fight hard.
Right.
They fought the hardest. Give me that, Abaddon, I want. That prophet, Shawnee prophet real quick. I'm going to try to squeeze that in. Since we brought out how they had the books. Just go to the Wikipedia, right? Yes, sir. Go to Wikipedia real quick. Proving we had the book. And there's this guy named Shawnee. Shawnee was a North American Indian tribe, the Shawnee tribe, I believe. And there was a man that was considered a prophet. You had a man very famous known as Handsome Lake. Those of you who are of so-called North American, Native American descent, that's a very, very famous, like you had Geronimo, you had Handsome Lake. Handsome Lake was very, very famous among the Native Americans. He established many rules and laws for the natives to abide by that maintained law and order among them. And he was also known to be recognized as a prophet. And I believe he said that a man visited him in a vision with his hands pierced and his feet pierced and told him, don't follow the white man. Don't follow Christianity.
Right.
That was what Handsome Lake said. Those are the words of Handsome Lake. Don't follow the white man and don't follow his customs. This other guy, just Shawnee, his name was a Shawnee prophet. This guy here, and we're going to read, this guy here was a drunk. And, he was one of those like revelers, whatever. And I believe he had a vision of some kind. And the Lord started showing him things. I forgot this guy. He's a crazy name. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I have it there. I sit right there, right? This is kind of last minute. But we found it. All right, all praise. We found it. What's his name again, Abaddon? Ten Squatua is his name. Ten Squatua is his name. You can look it up.
Deacon, that probably is around here in Jersey. Shawnee, New Jersey.
Yeah, Shawnee's New Jersey, right. Shawnee, Jersey. These are natives of Jersey. All right? Read that.
Beginning in 1805, Lala Wika had a series of religious visions that transformed his life.
He had a series of religious visions that transformed his life. Go ahead.
Caused him to change his name to Tenskwata, meaning open door.
Open door, because he was being shown things. Things are open to him. Go ahead. Visions. Go ahead.
And led him to reject his old ways.
And he repented, basically. He was a drunk. He was a whatever. And the Lord visited him. So he changed his name. He changed his name. Go ahead.
He experienced his first vision in May 1805 when he fell into unconsciousness during one of his alcoholic stupors.
Right.
And
he was a drunk. Go ahead.
And was thought to be dead. Unexpectedly reviving as his body was being prepared for burial, he recounted a powerful vision of two different worlds. One filled with ample blessings for the virtuous ones.
One filled with ample blessings for the virtuous. That means the blessings of God. Deuteronomy 28, verse 1 through 14. Go ahead.
Who lived as the master of life intended.
Or the Great Spirit intended. God. Go ahead.
While the other world was filled with pain, hardship, and terror for those who refused to follow traditional tribal ways.
Curses. That's 15 through 68. Go ahead.
Don't move it while I'm reading. Tenskwata became known as the prophet.
He became known as the what?
The prophet.
Like Geronimo was. The prophet. Go ahead.
Began preaching and gathered a growing number of followers. He soon emerged as a powerful and influential spiritual leader.
Now, I'm not saying this guy was holy and righteous and so forth. I'm just showing you what he says the Lord showed him. Go ahead, watch this.
More visions follow in succeeding months, including revelations that the European invaders from the east were the children of the evil spirit.
Whoa. Run that back. Say it again.
He soon emerged as a powerful, influential spiritual leader. More visions followed in succeeding months.
More visions followed. He's an open door. More visions followed after that in the preceding months. Go ahead.
Including revelations that the European invaders.
The European invaders are what?
From the east.
From America. From Britain and so forth, Spain and so forth, from the east. Go ahead.
Were the children of the evil spirit.
The children of the evil spirit. Children of the evil spirit. Y'all don't drop the ball. It's all right. Children of the evil spirit. Go ahead.
The prophet's developing purification movement caused him to urge his followers to reject European habits, such as consumption of alcohol, and to return to their traditional ways. He wanted his people to reject the white man's customs.
Reject what?
The white man's customs.
Christianity. Reject the white man's customs. Go ahead.
By forbidding marriages between Indians and whites, as well as the use of Euro-American foods.
So he was saying, listen, don't marry their women. Don't marry their women. Don't marry their men. Because the white man moved over here. He brought his family over here. The Native American men were also messing around with the women. And the white men were messing around with the Native Americans' women. He was saying, stop doing that. That's not according to our tradition. And I showed you in these books, our tradition was the Bible. Go ahead.
As well as the use of Euro-American foods.
Don't eat their food either. Go ahead.
Clothing.
And don't wear their clothes.
And manufactured goods. Tenskwata also encourages people to follow traditional gender roles, women as farmers, men as hunters
So
and warriors.
so Esau was pushing role reversal at that time. He was saying, maintain your role. Our job is to hunt and provide. Women take care of the children and so forth. Read it again.
Don't move it. Go back. Why are you moving?
Come on.
Tensko, Euro-American foods, clothing, and manufactured goods. Tenskawada also encourages people to follow traditional gender roles.
To follow traditional gender roles. Go ahead.
Women as farmers.
Women were the ones that dealt the farming, agriculture. Go ahead.
Men as hunters.
The men were hunters.
And warriors.
And fighters. The men were the hunters and the fighters. Go ahead.
Tenskawada proved to be harsh, even brutal in his treatment.
He was what?
Tenskawada proved to be harsh, even brutal in his treatment of those who opposed him and his teaching.
He ain't play no games.
They don't sound like Nehemiah.
Yeah, he sounded like a prophet. Yeah.
Pull their hair.
He didn't play. He didn't play. He sounded like Samuel. Go ahead.
He accused his detractors and anyone who associated with settlers of witchcraft.
He accused his detractors, those who left, and those who dealt with white folks. He accused these guys of evil as hell, of being witches. Go ahead.
Including Indians who had converted to Christianity.
Including what?
Indians who converted to Christianity.
He called them witches. He called them witches. And he's right. He was right. Go ahead.
For Tenskawada, Indian witches remained the most active agents of the evil spirits on earth, and he sought to identify and destroy them.
Damn. That's it? Oh, damn, that's all I want. This dude sounded the most I was doing with him.
And part of it says Proverbs 2:31, envy
not the oppressor,
and choose
none of his ways.
Yep.
That's what he was pushing. He was pushing that. All right? So you deny the Native Americans if you want to. Let's go to the next one. The next book, Origins. Go back to Origins, page 60. You know what I'm talking about? Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you, sir. On page 60, I'm going to try to finish this Bearing Street up today. We're trying to get to the other side of the world, man. Trying to get there.
That's right.
And I keep getting, other things pop up, but it's all right. That's some good stuff right there, man. Tenskawada, man. That dude was another level.
Yeah, it's bad.
God, now they gone. They ain't bugged up now. They gone. They all over the place. Worshipping trees and buttons and zippers, all kind of nonsense going on with them now. They all bugged up their head. But some of them was in their right mind.
Where you want me to start at, D?
Page 60 in order.
And Dick, that's why Esau is destroying them too.
Let me see. Hold on a second. Make sure that's what I want. In order.
Yeah, you have that underlined here.
I do? Okay, good. All praises. Yeah, that's it. In order. And we're going to end at page 61, aforementioned parts. Go ahead.
In order to discover, as best he could, what the origins of the Indians were.
This is referring to Garcia. Go ahead.
Garcia evaluated what he read, what he was told by both Spaniards
and Indians.
Uh-huh. And what he had seen.
So Garcia went by what he was told by Spaniards who dealt with them and the Indians themselves. Acosta dealt with guesswork, I believe, because the grass, they're Asian. Garcia dealt with what he heard from Spaniards who was around them and the Indians themselves who were converted and learned to speak Spanish and what they told him, which makes sense. Go ahead, for a researcher. Go ahead.
He did not
and what he had seen. Go ahead.
He did not quote very often for his purpose in the origin, did not require it. He was primarily interested in identifying all possible sources for man in America and stating each of the arguments based on those sources as strongly as possible. Thus, for each opinion, Garcia posed all the objections he knew and refuted them in turn. Garcia utilized the standard classical authorities, many biblical commentators, several cosmographers.
Many biblical commentators and several cosmographers. Go ahead.
Authors of questionable traditional histories, such as the Barroses, and most of the Spaniards who had offered origin theories.
Go ahead.
Before discussing the various opinions on origins, Garcia explained the conditions which governed the development of his treatise. First, it was necessary to accept three things as fundamentals on which to base the structure and the argument of the book. The first dealt with the Catholic faith, that all men and women had and have since the beginning of the world proceeded and taken their beginning and origins from our first parents, Adam and Eve, and subsequently from Noah and his sons, who were all who remained alive after the general deluge. And that Noah divided the world, giving Asia to Shem, Egypt and Africa.
Asia to Shem, east to Shem.
Egypt and Africa to Ham, and Europe to Japheth.
Yeah, you got that right. Go ahead.
The second fundamental was that people now in the Indies, whom we call Indians, went to them from one of the three parts of the known world.
Right, either Asia, Egypt, Africa, or Europe. Go ahead.
The reason for this is that if the fourth part called America were inhabited at the
What's America?
fourth part,
America's the fourth part. New world, fourth part. We have the old world, and you have the new world. That's the fourth part. Go ahead.
the reason for this is
And
that
Noah didn't have 4 sons. Noah had 3 sons. They inhabited the 3 parts of the old world. No one inhabited this side of the world, unless Noah had a baby mama on the side somewhere named Tequita, and he had Hamath on this side of the world. His side chick baby on this side. Y'all retarded, man. No one had this side of the world. No one was here. Whenever mankind dwelt makes America obvious. The obvious decision, obvious pick. Go ahead.
the reason for this is that if the fourth part called America were inhabited at the beginning of the world or before the flood, in the time of Noah and his sons or grandsons, there would have been notice of it, and the ancient historians and cosmographers would have mentioned it as they did the 3 said parts.
Right, it would have been known. Everyone would have knew about it if someone was here already. Go ahead.
But in old times, they considered them uninhabited because they were below the burning zone. Thus, we are forced to concede that the Indians went to the Indies from one of the aforementioned parts.
So the Indians came from one of those 3 areas: Asia, Egypt, and Africa, or Europe. They came from the east, Asia, the east. They came from the east, the land of Israel, all right, which is Africa and East, pretty much, and Asia mixed together, because they're both connected. That's all I want. I've mentioned parts. Now, let's get page 65, the first opinion. It's the top paragraph.
You brothers on point today, man.
Page 65. Page 65.
The first opinion dealt with the belief that the first Indians went to the Indies by sea, and that they went there not only because they had heard of the New World.
How? Because Moses, Deuteronomy 33. That's how they knew. They knew about this place already.
Wow.
Solomon knew about this place already. Go back, read it from the top again.
The first opinion
The first opinion, go ahead.
dealt with the belief that the first Indians went to the Indies by sea,
Came here by sea, go ahead.
and that they went there knowingly because they had heard of the New
Our
World.
forefathers knew about this place because this land was promised to us. Promised lands, plural, go ahead.
Some writers, notably Acosta, had considered such a possibility but rejected it.
So wait, stop. That part you want to deal with. So he considered it, but then he said, no, I don't believe it. You know why he did that? Because he knew the danger of knowing it. He knew the danger of other people knowing these guys came from the east. If they're the children of Israel and we killed them and enslaved them, we're at fault. We're wrong. So we got to make them something else. Make them from somewhere else. So our actions against them are justified. They were savage. They had to be civilized. They had to be Europeanized. Assimilated into society.
Right.
But if they're Israelites, we're wrong. This guy's the devil. I told you how this guy had Garcia. He had 3 different people tell him. Peralta, Garcia, and Duran. All these men were around to help him gather intel on Native Americans and document it. He said, well, you guys are saying that, but I'm going to reject it. Because this guy was basically Garcia and them, Peralta and Duran, they were what you call today whistleblowers. Unknowingly, they were whistleblowers. They're telling you these guys are Israelites. That's what they said to us. But Acosta's like, yo, shut up. The Asians are Asians. They're Japanese. They're Chinese. Wink, wink, wink. You get it? Shut up. That's what he was doing.
Right.
Because he knew it, but he said, "Nah, I'm a lie. They came across a land bridge that doesn't exist. They came from Asia." Go ahead.
Garcia knew of Acusa's work and his objection that the Indians could not have come by design, since the ancients had no compass or art of navigation with which to cross the ocean and acquire knowledge of America.
That was Acosta's belief, that they had no wisdom or knowledge of navigation or a compass to come to the side of the world. And we did, because Issachar had power to observe the times, the stars, the constellations. We had that knowledge. Go ahead.
Garcia replied that the art of navigation had been invented by Noah.
Damn. He said the art of navigation was, Noah had the art of navigation. Some had art of navigation. Go ahead.
And was therefore as old
Well,
as
Solomon's men and Solomon himself had art of navigation. Go ahead.
and was therefore as old as man.
And Noah was as old as man. So before the white man, what he's saying is before the white man came around, Noah had knowledge of navigation. He's saying that didn't start with us. Man from ancient time had art of navigation. That's a lie. He's calling Acosta a liar. Go ahead.
Garcia also thought that the ancients might have known the lodestone. Adam was aware of all things in nature.
Damn.
Oh, man.
Adam was aware of all. We heard it in class last night.
Last night, yes, sir.
Adam was aware of all things in nature, including what?
The lodestone.
I don't know what that is. I gotta look it up later on. Go ahead.
And Noah probably knew of it also.
And Noah knew of it also, because he's Adam's descendant. Go ahead.
He could have passed the knowledge along to his descendants.
And he passed the knowledge of navigation to his descendants. So that again, this guy Garcia has proven this guy to be an idiot. He's a freaking liar, man. And y'all repeating his lie. Damn. Go without a compass. I said without compass, right? Where did we stop at? Keep going. Next paragraph. Without the compass. Keep going.
The ancients had also made long voyages.
The ancient civilizations made long voyages. Go ahead.
The Jews of Solomon's time.
Oh my gosh. This guy Garcia is on point. The Jews of Solomon's time, he said. Go ahead.
Had sailed to Ophir and Tarshish.
They sailed to Ophir, which is by India, or India itself, that area, to Tarshish, which would be either Sicily or southern Spain. That's a long voyage. Go ahead.
And Ophir might be in the Indies.
And Ophir might be in India. He said it might be here, which is not true. But some people say it might be over here. Go ahead.
Garcia rejected Acusa's contention that Ophir and Tarshish were merely names for faraway places rather than specific places. There was also the example of Hanno's voyage.
Hanno, oh man. We're going to deal with him later on in the series. Hanno was a Carthaginian. That's our brother also. Hanno is short for Hanno as in Hannibal. Hannibal. Go ahead.
There was also the example of Hanno's voyage around Africa.
Hanno sailed around Africa. Okay? it was Hanno and somebody else. What's the other guy's name?
Hamilcar.
It was Hamilcar and Hanno. Hanno, one north, one sailed south of Africa.
Right.
Ended up discovering British Isles and so forth. And we'll get to that. That's gonna be heavy. That actually goes deep. We're gonna get into that later on in the series. Go ahead.
Garcia rejected Acusa's contention that Ophir and Tarshish were merely names for faraway places.
Because he was an idiot. Acosta, go ahead.
Rather than specific places.
Uh-huh.
There was also the example of Hanno's voyage around Africa.
Uh-huh.
Long voyages, therefore, had occurred in antiquity with or without the compass.
See that? Long voyages occurred with or without a compass. So Garcia is saying, yo, Acosta, you do not know what you're talking about. And a lot of y'all repeat this Jesuit idiot's nonsense, doctrines. Let's get page 69 now. Yes, sir.
The lodestone. That's the same thing you saw about the compass.
Oh, there you go.
It's a magnet that used in the compass.
Ah, got you.
It says a lodestone is a block that can be used to alter the point where compasses lead.
Ah, okay,
it can
got
be
you.
useful in all three dimensions.
So basically, a lodestone's a compass.
It's like a compass.
So when he mentions lodestone earlier, where's it at? Let's go back to that again. Thank you, Laquai. Where's it at? Lodestone is in the first paragraph. It says Noah Garcia also thought that the ancients might have known the lodestone. So he's saying
right
the
there.
ancients had knowledge of the compass.
Right.
They did have knowledge
So
of the compass.
They had compass.
They had a
the
compass. He's saying they had it. So Garcia was smart. He was advanced in his time.
Right.
That the ancients had knowledge of the lodestone or the compass, ancient compass. Adam was aware of all things in nature, including the lodestone. Adam had knowledge of the compass also. So he's saying Gacosta is making things up. That's what he's saying. Page 69.
Damn. Say Adam was aware of all things.
Adam
in
was
nature.
aware. I'm about to underline that, man. I didn't know that was even in there.
Like the Christ said
I don't know.
yesterday.
I didn't know that was even in here, to be honest.
He was a god.
He was a god. Get up, page 69. We're going to start at until 1607. Damn.
So basically, Esau stole everything that he knows today. He stole it from
Ancients,
the
ancient nations, the dark nations.
Yep.
Conquered them and claimed all their understanding and wisdom to be his own.
Right, that's his own. He's the creator.
Right.
He has no history.
He has no history, none.
Right.
Page 69, we're going to go to until 1607.
Until 1607, the theory of a Jewish origin for the Indians had not played a dominant role in the literature. Several writers used it, but as many had rejected as had accepted it. This theory,
So
however,
as many as rejected the idea they were Israelites, many rejected also. Go ahead.
this theory, however, probably enjoyed a greater popularity among laymen
But this theory enjoyed a higher population of acceptance among the laymen. Go ahead.
than among the writers.
Than among writers. Go ahead.
And if the importance or popularity of a theory were judged by the space Garcia is devoted to it, the Hebrew theory or theories would seem paramount.
So Garcia's belief of Garcia's theory of them being Israel is larger. Go ahead. Would seem larger. Go ahead.
Garcia himself testified to the popularity of the theory among the common people of America, who, he said, thought the Indians descended from the tribes of Hebrews lost in the captivity of Shalmaneser.
Damn. Lost the captivity of Shalmaneser. Go ahead.
They based their belief in the condition, nature, and customs of the Indians, which they thought similar to the condition, nature, and custom of the Hebrews.
Go ahead.
Garcia admitted that he had spent more time pondering this subject than any of the other theories because he wanted to be sure to phrase it as well and as strongly as possible. He decided to use Gilbert Gimbrod as his chief literary source for the opinion. Gimbrod's evidence was largely circumstantial. Rumors of graves in the Azores with Hebrew writing on them.
Rumors of graves in the Azores. Azores, I believe, is
Can you look that up?
Spain. Is that Spain? No, that's the Americas. Azores is the Americas. I think. Let me see. Azores. I read that. We came across that before. What's the name? But Guadalupe. Remember?
Right.
Azores is a.
Brothers, are y'all able to look up what Azores Azores is? Real quick. Azores. AZORES.
Ores.
Wikipedia.
That's in Spain.
But it says an island in Portugal.
Yeah, in Portugal, yes. An island in Portugal, yep. Ponta Delgada. Yeah, it's an island in, yeah, go back. Read it again.
All right, you go back. Thank you. Say Gimbrod.
Rumors of graves.
Rumors of graves in the Azores with Hebrew writing on
The
them.
reason why there's graves with Hebrews was because the Hebrews took over Portugal and Spain. And we were buried in those areas. That's why. I'm going to get to that later on regarding our inhabitants of Portugal and Spain and how far back it goes. That's why he's saying that. Go ahead. The same writings you found of burial grounds in Portugal are the same burial grounds you found here in the Americas as well, and the same similar writing of Hebrew. Go ahead.
Old traditions of Jews being surrounded, as they were in America, by water, and of course cultural comparisons and biblical or pseudo-biblical authority.
In cultural comparisons and biblical or pseudo-biblical, which they refer to as the Apocrypha, authority. Go ahead.
The fullest statement of the 10 lost tribe theory relied on the apocryphal 4th Esdras.
Which they refer to as pseudo-biblical. Pseudo or falsely biblical. It's not false biblical, but that what Esau refers to it as pseudo-biblical. even though the Roman Catholic Church has the Apocrypha in their Bible. The Roman Catholic Church has the Apocrypha in their Bibles. The Roman Catholic Church are responsible for establishing or being the forerunners of the transatlantic slave trade, forcing the Jews out of Spain and Portugal and shipping them over here, as well as decolonizing and enslavement of us on this side of the world, pushing the exact same religion on this side of the world. So the Catholic Church believes beyond a shadow of a doubt about 2 Ezra 13, because it's in the Catholic Bible. So they can't deny it. Go ahead.
The story of the journey to Osiris was presented in full in the discussion of Suarez de Parata.
That's Diego Duran's relative. Go ahead.
Many writers identify Osiris as America.
Many writers identified not just Columbus, but even after him, many writers identified Osiris as America. Go ahead.
But if that were the case, what route did the Hebrews take to America?
If that's the case, which route did they take to get over here? Which route did they take to get over here? Go ahead.
Garcia proposed 2 routes.
He proposed 2 different routes. That was his proposal. Go ahead.
One would have the tribes pass through Tartary and the lands of the Mongols to the Straits of Anion.
Right. So he was following that same Bering Strait thing also. Go ahead. But he know that he's saying that the Israelites, but they came from the Strait also. Go ahead.
Where they could pass over into the kingdom of Anion, which Garcia placed in North America.
Go ahead.
During their journey, they acquired a few customs from the Tartars, such as sun worshiping.
The sun worshiping came from what? Persian captivity. We read that earlier. Go ahead.
The alternate route ran through China to the Strait of Anion.
So even though he believed they were Israelites, he still also somewhat followed the doctrine of Acosta with the Bering Strait theory. Go ahead.
Akusa had made
Hold on a second. I want to stop at. Page 70. Go ahead.
Akusa had made some rather pointed criticisms of the lost tribe theory. Esdras, he observed, was apocryphal.
Being secret, it was a secret. It was apocryphal. Go ahead.
And one did not have to
believe it.
Believe it.
Acosta was saying, you don't got to believe in that. Now, mind you, the Roman Catholic Church is who commissioned these bastards to come over here in the first place. They believed in the Apocrypha. So I'm showing you the contradiction and hypocrisy coming out of this guy's mouth. Go ahead.
Furthermore,
and others' mouths aside from his. Go ahead.
Furthermore.
Hold on, we're going to stop at love or peace. Go ahead.
Furthermore, the Esdras vision specifically stated that the tribes went to Osiris to keep their law. The Indians did not practice Jewish law.
Now we know that's a lie. The ones that they encountered did not keep law. But many other explorers and conquerors saw them keeping law. So Esau said, because I don't see these guys keeping law, they're not keeping the laws. But they were keeping the commandments. We read that numerous times throughout the series. Go ahead.
Garcia circumvented that objection.
So Garcia comes behind that with an objection and said, Costa's argument was, I didn't see him keeping no commandments. Garcia comes behind it and goes, well, watch this. Garcia's response or retort is what? Watch this.
Garcia circumvented that objection by asserting that some Indians had not lived up to their intentions.
Some went off. Some Indians weren't keeping the commandments. They went into idolatry. Watch.
The other strong objection came from the Bible itself.
And the strong objection he used was the Bible itself. Watch.
2 Kings, chapter 17, verse 6.
What did he use from there?
Asserted that King Shalmaneser scattered the tribes in the cities of the Medes and other places.
Watch this.
Garcia responded that some had stayed there.
Some stayed behind.
But most had gone on as Esdras reported in his vision.
Most of them came over here.
And Dick, earlier you were saying something about the Catholic Church, right?
Yeah.
Most Catholic Church Bible has the Apocrypha.
Yes, it does. I have one.
And
yes, it does.
without the second Esdras.
Yep, and Esdras in there.
First and second Esdras.
Yep.
They took that out.
Oh, it took it out, yes.
Yeah,
But
because like in the Haiti, they have the Bible with the Apocrypha without the first and second Esdras.
and in Jamaica, it was banned for a long time.
It's crazy.
Jamaica, they banned because the Maroons used Maccabees to encourage them to fight against the British.
Right.
So they banned the Apocrypha in the islands of Jamaica also for a long time.
It's revolutionary.
Yeah, it was a revolutionary book. We're gonna stop. We're gonna keep going. Yeah, Love or Peace.
Love or
keep
Peace,
going,
right.
keep going. The Esdras story, I believe, right?
The Esdras story merely indicated that the Jews could have come to America.
Uh-huh.
To prove that they had come, it was necessary to find cultural traits common to the Indians and the Hebrews of the 10 lost tribes.
Right.
That proved easy. Both peoples were timid, prone to ceremony and idolatry, and liars. When the scripture spoke of Jewish heroism, it referred to the tribe of Judah.
Oh, all praises to the Lord. All praises.
All praises, man.
Where the bomb at?
All praises.
Don't be hating over there.
Hey,
Don't hate over there. Don't hate
drop
over there.
another bomb, man.
And guess what? That's Judah
Word.
too.
Thank you.
Judah, baby.
Yeah, that's Judah over there.
Yeah,
We out here. We out
For
here.
that sleep.
Yeah, Judah, baby. What's the bomb, baby?
Hey, get another
back.
for Cap, man.
Yeah, get another Cap.
I'm
Cap
back,
on late.
baby.
All right.
Yeah.
Cap
Hey, man,
came
I
back
know you're
late.
losing ammo over there.
Damn.
No, I'm
What's
saying
up,
I'm
Judah
back,
too,
baby.
Wow, it came out of nowhere.
I'm
Said
back.
Judah. Read it again. Read it again. Read it again for Cap.
Came from the ashes.
When the scripture spoke of what?
When the scripture spoke of Jewish heroism, it is referred to the tribe of Judah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Ooh. Jez, what are you doing?
The
Word.
superheroes.
Wait, Jez, what are you doing?
Not the 10 lost ones.
No, that's your category.
Not the 10 lost ones.
The 10 lost ones.
No, Cap, come on, man. Let me live today, man. Please. Let me live today, man.
Nah.
Judah.
Nah, all right.
Please, man.
Just for today.
Not the,
Look
not,
at-
not the
look at
10.
the fro.
Not the 10
Yo,
Look at
lost
the
ones.
fro, right? Look at the fro.
fro
Judah
look-
fro, right?
All praises, man.
No, that's him trying to comb out the Gadite curls. That's all right. Go ahead. Not the 10
all
lost
good, man.
ones. Go ahead.
Sorry, Dad.
When the scripture spoke of Jewish heroism, it referred to the tribe of Judah, not the 10 lost ones.
Go ahead.
In this initial comparison, Garcia closely paralleled Diego Duran, but there is no evidence he used Duran's
Because
manuscript.
Diego Duran was the one that came forward and said that they were Israelites. Him, remember Diego Duran, Peralta, and who else? Duran, Peralta, and somebody else were the ones that were assisting Acosta in his documentation of the Native Americans and the land and so forth. Go ahead.
Garcia illustrated the timidity and passivity of the Indians by referring to the ease with which the Spaniards conquered them. Other alleged similarities were cited: big noses, guttural speech, incredulity, ingratitude, lack of charity, and use of sleeveless robes. In times of stress, he remarked, both Indians and Jews lift their arms up to heaven.
Both Indians and Jews lift their arms up to heaven to do what? To send up prayers. Go ahead.
Both call their relatives of the second and third degree of
Consanguinity.
consanguinity
Brothers. Remember that? They call each other brother and sister. Remember that? Go ahead.
Both bury their dead away in the hills. Rend their clothes when despairing.
Rip their clothes in despair.
Sacrifice children.
See, idolatry going on. Go ahead.
Use drugs or wine.
They dealt with drugs and wine. You weed smoking Negroes in Israel. They use drugs and alcoholics. Some of y'all be sipping coke. All praises to Yah. Yeah, but coke in your nose. Go ahead.
Do a line and face the east, huh?
Yeah, do a line and face the east.
And kiss
They face the south because they high as hell. Go ahead.
and kiss the cheek as a sign of love or peace.
And kiss the cheek as a holy kiss. Kiss the cheek as a sign of love or peace. All Israelite customs. Now, let's get page 71. The question. Page 70 to 71, the question. I got mad time. What praises?
The question: why the Indians failed to observe Mosaic law?
So there's the question. Why did the Indians that these guys came across or observed, failed to observe Mosaic law? Go ahead.
as the Jews did everywhere else, still remain.
As the Jews everywhere else did, but that still remained. Go ahead.
Garcia's contention that their intention did not match their action was incomplete. The answer lay in the character of the 10 tribes. The Bible clearly indicated that the lost tribes were disposed to evil and idolatry.
That's true. Northern Kingdom went off first. They were prone to do evil stuff. They got conquered first, went off first. They're prone to that. Go ahead.
This disposition, no doubt, was strengthened by contact with such peoples as the Tartars and Mongols during the journey to Osiris.
So now he's going to madness. Now he's saying they came up when they went to Tartary. Now, I'm going to deal with that because the Northern Kingdom did go among Tartary and did mingle among the Mongols. I'm going to go into that. I might have time for that later on next week or this week. We'll see what happens. Go ahead. We did go over there also. Remember, it says most of them came over here, but some stayed behind. And the ones that stayed behind, a lot of them migrated to areas of Asia, China, India, among the Mongols and Tartars. So that's very true. That's true. But they didn't come to this side of the world from that area. Those that went to the areas, they stayed in those
They
areas.
stayed over there.
They stayed there, and they're there now. Go ahead.
Or the only historical account of them coming to the Americas was by the Portuguese and the French that brought them as slaves.
Right, that
for the
too.
Seychelles, I think it's the Seychelles Islands.
Seychelles, yeah.
Seychelles Islands,
Yeah.
which is in Indian Ocean.
Actually, the Indians did appear to keep certain parts of the law in certain areas.
See, they did, read the part again.
Actually, the Indians did appear to keep certain parts of the law in certain areas.
In certain areas, some went to idolatry, some did not. Go ahead.
The Incas held a festival in March similar to the Passover.
Damn. Incas kept Passover. And we read earlier last week that Issachar, Aztecs kept Passover. Go ahead.
Wait, that's why they have what was the tortilla bread?
Yeah, tortilla. Yeah, they had tortilla. Right,
It doesn't have leaven in it.
Unleavened,
That's
right.
what I think. Offside Downs bring that out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Yep. Go ahead.
The Yucatecan Indians practiced circumcision.
Yucatecan Indians practice circumcision. That's Issachar. Aztec practice circumcision. Go ahead.
Mexicans and Incas had eternal altar fires.
They had sacrifices. That's in Deuteronomy 33. Mexicans and Incas, Aztecs and Incas had sacrificial fires. Go ahead. Altar fires. Go ahead.
Some Nicaraguans would not allow women who had recently given birth into the temples.
Mayans. Nicaraguans. I believe that's Mayans. Go ahead.
Other parts of the law observed at various places included those which said that men should not sleep with women who had recently given birth.
That's Mosaic law. That's Mosaic law. So he's saying, so Garcia's saying, listen, you're saying they didn't keep laws, but in certain areas of the world, in Americas, that you have not been to, they keep laws. Some do, some don't. Some went off, some did not. Go ahead.
If a master slept with a slave, both were whipped. Adulteresses were to be stoned. Men and women must not wear
Wear
each
other's clothes.
wear each other's clothes.
No cross-dressing. Deuteronomy 22 and 5.
Wow. Talking about Esau came to civilize us. They got it backwards.
Yeah, we civilized them.
Yeah, we knew the laws.
Go ahead.
And a widow must marry her nearest male relative.
Deuteronomy 25, verse 5 to 10. Raise up seed to your dead brother. Go ahead.
The Decalogue was not kept very well in the Indies, but one could find parts of it observed in various places.
Decalogue is referring to the Bible. The Decalogue. Decalogue, look that up real quick. Decalogue. Yeah, that's the Bible. Tell me that's 10. Dec is 10. Decalogue.
10 Commandments.
I believe so.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
10 Commandments. Yep. 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments was not kept very well in the Indies, but one could find parts of it observed in various places. All right? But the strongest in North America, Gad, maintained it the strongest because they were the lawgivers. They maintained the position of lawgiver on this side of the world as prophecy stated.
So in other words, Deacon, the 12 tribe charts is accurate.
Yeah, it's very accurate. 12 tribe sign is accurate. You can deny if you want to. Deny whatever you want to deny. It is what it is. And no
We don't
ones,
care.
we don't really care. And notice the ones that deny it are not doing anything of any kind to provide a better one
Right.
or an accurate one. So you continue with your nonsense, man. So far, we got Issachar right. We got Gad right. We got Judah right. We got Simeon right. We got Levi right. But everything else is wrong. Okay.
They use it secretly, Deke.
Yeah, they do. Then they say Hispanics are not Israelites. Are Cubans Hispanics? They're black as night. Are Brazilians Hispanics? Are Puerto Ricans Hispanics? Are Dominicans Hispanics? The black ones is just, those are Hispanic means pertaining to Spain. Any area that Spain has territory in is Hispanic. It's property of Spain. So if you live in an area where either Portuguese or Spain dominates that area, you're referred to as a Hispanic. So when you say Hispanics on Israelites, you sound like a bunch of idiots. I'm just telling you straight. You sound very, very dumb when you say that.
There's no difference from them saying that blacks are descendants from Africans.
Right.
Or they're not Israelites because they're Africans. They can't be Jews.
Right.
It's the same argument.
Same thing.
Just
in
from a
reverse.
different perspective. That's it.
Yep, exactly. Get me Mexico now. Wikipedia Mexico. Now, Wikipedia. Some of y'all will say Wikipedia. What are you using that for? Now, remember, I've used a whole bunch of old books regarding Mexico, the origin of the word itself. So I'm only using this because
Hey, Deacon, Don't explain yourself. We don't appeal to black people. Question. We don't appeal to black people. Why are you using
people.
this?
I'm
We use
only
what the
saying-
hell we want to use.
You're right.
And that's it. We don't appeal to what people ask.
But
Why are you using that?
I like to just.
You
say
don't
it
need to.
just
You don't need
show
to,
it, just
Deacon.
show it.
We don't need to. You know your facts. You back up
I
everything
fact
you
check,
bring
right?
up.
I fact check. Right.
You don't need to say you fact check nothing, man. They don't need to listen to us nothing.
Right.
Shoot.
You got Mexico, Wikipedia,
They
Mexico.
did with Christ, man. They couldn't resist.
Right, or go against say. Click Mexico right there, Wikipedia, click that. What does it say there? Read that for me, please.
The Mexica, Nahuatl.
Nahuatl, that's the language they speak. Nahuatl, go ahead.
Pronunciation, singular Mexicoro.
Mexicotl is, remember, is the name. Mexicotl or Messi is the name of the founder of that name of Mexico or land itself. Go ahead.
Or Mexicas were a Nahuatl speaking
Or Mexicas, Mexica. Go ahead.
were a Nahuatl speaking indigenous people of the Valley of Mexico, who were the rulers of the Aztec Empire.
Who were the rulers of the Aztec Empire? Go ahead.
They were the last Nua speaking immigrants to enter the basin of Mexico after the Toltec decline.
After the what?
The Toltec decline.
Who are their Who are their ancestors? The Toltecs, who they derive from. You have the Toltecs, Chichimecs, who branched off out of them, and the Aztecs. It's all the same family. Go ahead.
This group was also known as the Chihuahua, the Chulawa.
Chihuahua.
Chihuahua. Oh,
Chihuahua.
God. You call them monkeys, and you call them dogs. I don't understand what's wrong with this brother, man. I don't understand it.
You call it Chihuahua?
I don't understand it. I really don't. But let's continue. Kulawa, Mexico. Go ahead. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Oh, let's break your spirit, Jess.
Yo, I'm doing the best I can. I'm trying.
Go ahead. The group was what?
The Kuop, Mexico, in recognition of his kingship alliance with the neighboring Kulawa,
Descendants
of the revered Toltec,
of the revered Toltecs. Go ahead.
who occupied the Toltec capital of Tula from the 10th through 12th centuries.
Remember, Tula represents Jerusalem. All right? Tula represents, it's called Tula or Tola. And what I find very, very, I think Brother Myron brought to my attention, Tola was a son of Issachar. Tula was a son of Issachar. So not be surprised if there's some kind of relation with that also. All right? Tola was a son of Issachar. And Tula's also made reference to Jerusalem. So I would not be surprised if they make reference to the fact that our forefathers, Tula was from Jerusalem and so forth. I would not be surprised if there's a correlation somehow. We'll look further into it. But Tula is, from what I've read, in reference to Jerusalem. All right? And I believe Atzlan is Canaan. All right? And you have 5 Tulas, as far as I know. 5 Tulas. 1 Babylon, 1 Jerusalem, and then you had 2 on this side of the world. But the 5th may very well be Tula himself, as in Issachar's descendant, from which the so-called Toltecs or Aztecs or Chichimecs derived from Issachar. All right? Go ahead. I'm trying to get the origin of the word Mexico. Is that it? Is it somewhere over there?
Yeah, you're right, Cap. Deacon. Tola.
Tola.
T-O-L-A. The son of Issachar.
There you go.
Yep.
See? Tola, son of Issachar.
T-O-L-A.
T-O-L-A. Tolan, Tula, Toltec, same thing, same place. So, yeah, again, the 12 tribe sign. Y'all keep playing around with it, man. What else? We'll look more into it, though. But go ahead, what else? What else is there?
The Mexica of Tenochtitlan were additionally referred to as the Tanaka, a term associated with the name of their city-state.
Go down to the name Aztec. The name Aztec right there.
The name Aztec was coined by Alexander von Humboldt, who combined Aztlan, piece of the Haran, their mythic homeland,
It wasn't mythic. It was Jerusalem. Canaan. Go ahead.
and Tech, people of.
The people of Aztlan. People of Aztlan is the people of Canaan. Israel. Go ahead.
In today's usage, the term Aztec often refers exclusively to the Mexica people of Tenochtitlan. Mexica, Tenochtitlan, a tribal designation that referring only to the Mexica of Tenochtitlan, excluding Tetlaco, or
That's all right. That word's hard to explain.
Kohua.
Can you go up real quick to Mexico, please? Go up real quick to the origin of the word. Go down, or history, you see? It should say the word, what the word is. Or it doesn't. If it doesn't, that's fine. We'll explain the etymology of the word Mexico.
Go down to etymology.
Go to etymology.
Try to find etymology. All right,
it
so
there?
etymology not there. It's not on there, Deacon.
Go up to the top. Maybe you read it already. I'm just not paying attention. Mexica. Let's see. Mexicado. Mexica's word Nahuatl speaking. You mentioned Aztec, right? Read that earlier. That's all I want. Go to the Chichimex link I sent you. Chichimex, I mentioned to you earlier, the Toltec, Chichimex all derive the same family. There's different branches of the same tree. Likewise, like the Olmecs and the Mayans, different branches of the same tree. The Chalancas, Quinams, Otomies. Right there, read that.
The Mexica were a Chichimeca.
Oh, no, the question being asked. Are the what? Are the Chichimecas?
Oh, I'm sorry. Are the Chichimecas Aztecs?
Now, the Chichimec, remember, the word Chichimec means wrestle. Remember, it mentioned earlier, Chichimec goes back to Jacob wrestling with the angel.
Right.
You read that last week or a week before last. It means wrestle, all right? So they named themselves Chichimec after Jacob, wrestling with Quetzalcoatl, the Lord. Go ahead.
The Mexica were
The Mexica, or Mexico, remember that earlier, Mexica, go ahead.
were a Chichimeca tribe
They were a Chichimeca tribe, I mean, they're all the same people. Go ahead.
that claimed to have come from a mythical northern homeland known as Aztlan.
Aztlan meaning what? Canaan. Remember that here earlier in the Kingsborough. Aztlan is Canaan. Go ahead.
So when they arrived in central Mexico,
When they arrived in central Mexico, that's when Messi arrived there. Messi. Go ahead.
they were called people of Aztlan,
They were called people of Aztlan or
Aztecs.
Aztecs. Go ahead. Go ahead.
That's right. The Aztecs themselves were ancestrally Chichimeca people.
There you go. Children of Chichimec. All right? Or Jacob. Same thing. All right? So now, get second Esdras 1340. What time now? Yeah. Oh, we're going to take a break now. We can wrap it up. Take a break right now. Stay with us. We got some more information. Just stay with us. We got more. All right? Shalom.
Hey, is that a bird? Is it a plane? Hey, but they black. Greater than a superhero, yeah, I'm about to take off. I'm a prince from royalty, fly with my cape off. And yeah, I got my power from the king. I'm keeping commandments and I'm staying clean. Real is the greatest that you ever seen. It ain't no mistake, y'all. Hey, greater than a superhero, yeah, I'm about to take off. I'm a prince from royalty, fly with my cape off. And yeah, I got my power from the king. I'm keeping commandments and I'm staying clean. Real is the greatest that you ever seen. Ain't no mistake, y'all. Sing the Lord a new song. I'm sending up praises. Y'all's amazing. Quicken my spirit so heavenly. Kept me alive for another day. His mercy rains down heavily. Charity making a better me. You ain't seeking repentance, you better be. Wanna make it to heaven and see the king. Can't imagine the kingdom is about to be. 12 gates with the 12 name, 12 foundation, 4 walls round. 12 angels standing at the gates with some kings rocking 12-point crown. I'm just speaking the prophecy, teaching it properly. Jacob, now wake up, return to the Lord. Holy Joseph, that's where you slaying, man. Nations gon' fall on the glittering floor. Faster than a speeding bullet, we look like a locomotive or a plane. Spiritual X-Men with the power, fighting red juggernauts, that's Cain. Trusting the prophecy, and he came. Stay in the book, but this ain't no comic. Gotta do power, I spit flames. MCU, see how I'm coming. Hawk out with the vision, I'm hooked with the hammer. War machine, and we bringing the damage. Iron Man, we too heavy to handle. We got the light, they can't blow out the candle. Prince of the power with purple rain. Israelite law on my brain. Kal-El, I'm a Superman. I'm in the booth, look at how I change. Greater than a superhero, yeah, I'm about to take off. I'm a prince from royalty, fly with my cape off. And yeah, I got my power from the king. I'm keeping commandments and I'm staying clean. Real is the greatest that you ever seen. Ain't no mistake, y'all. I'm greater than a superhero, yeah, I'm about to take off. I'm a prince from royalty, fly with my cape off. And yeah, I got my power from the king. I'm keeping commandments and I'm staying clean. Real is the greatest that you ever seen. Ain't no mistake, y'all. I'm telling you straight. stray. My nation the greatest that you ever witnessed, and ain't no mistake. Holding my head, yeah, I said what I said. I stand on my word, so clear me some space. I'm taking my place, #1 on the podium. Heathens is salty, they full of their sodium. Earth is ours, yeah, we taking it over. Got spiritual power, word is Jehovah. Hey, hallelujah, I'm sending up praises. Look, it's amazing. Chariot wheel whipping through the atmosphere. Independence Day, when we out of here. Yo, this prophecy properly moving. It's manifest destiny, life is a movie. Heavenly screenwriter with the wordplay, and our life is living what the word say. I endure to the end. I want a reward, a ruler should crown me. I was groping in noonday. I was lost in the dark, yeah, how I can't found me. Now I'm here on a mission. We used to be under derision. I dare them to clown me. Won't hear from the heathen when we in the kingdom. They legacy never be found. B. I'm a ministry mover. I used to be out here a loser, but now I'm a changed man. I died in the flesh, but now I'm a God, so now you can call me an X-Man. It's miraculous, marvelous, marvelous men. Black is the night and they can't comprehend. End of the world is just to begin, and move out the wake up the saint coming in. Greater than a superhero, yeah, I'm about to take off. I'm a prince from royalty, fly with my cape off. And yeah, I got my power from the king. Keeping commandments and I'm staying clean. As real as the greatest that you ever seen, ain't no mistake, y'all. I'm greater than a superhero, yeah, I'm about to take off. I'm a prince from royalty, fly with my cape off. And yeah, I got my power from the king. I'm keeping commandments and I'm staying clean. As real as the greatest that you ever seen, ain't no mistake, y'all. Ain't no mistake.
So boys, what y'all doing, man? Y'all playing superhero? What y'all got right there? Who that you got right there? Oh, you strong, huh? Who is that?
Captain America and Wolverine and Thor and Iron Man.
Okay. What is this? Where y'all get this from? Man, one of these damn evangelists that came over here and gave you some bull crap. What is this? Heavenly Mother. Y'all look, hey, y'all want to learn about some superheroes? Let me show y'all what the real superhero is.
Park. We were at the Wendy's earlier with a group, but this is a second group. Of course, this here is Israel United in Christ, and then of course across the street you have other folks.
They screaming peace when there ain't no peace. Israel prophesying in the streets. Look at me, the center of attention. Black Messiah coming with a vision. Coming with a vision. Black Messiah coming with a vision. They screaming peace, it ain't no peace. We prophesying in the streets. We seeking peace in the streets of Babylon. Branderson Glock 40s tucking heat like a carry-on. Sinning against the fathers, got them sleeping, not napping on. Christ the King revealed, that's aerial phenomenon. Kicking against the pricks, lose your soul when that fire come. We purify better than gold, got my Bible on. And that's all that I know, we're in Babylon. Gon' fall, watch it blow, ayy. Switching it up, the nation's gon' drink it. I'm talking the cup, don't care what you thinking. Believe in the gospel, the God is thinking. The fires of heaven gon' gather for dinner. The ear of the flesh, the wicked, the sinner. Your mama, your sister, your daddy, your cousin. If they issue, if they mind, they don't repent. They screaming peace when there ain't no peace. Israel prophesying in the streets. Look at me, the center of attention. Black Messiah coming with a vision. Coming with a vision. Black Messiah coming with a vision. They screaming peace, it ain't no peace. We prophesying in the streets.
Iuic, we in the streets with it. Beasts with it, with kings and the priests with it. My people sleeping, got them dreaming in the sheets with it. So we spit that holy fire, bringing heat with it. We out here fighting for better days. Most sins make better slaves. Gotta come together on the 7th day. Lose 11 and I levitate. 1 plus 11 heaven gates. 12 tribes, no reprobates. Kingdom come, I can never wait. But the pages saints never separate. Christ coming back with a legion of them angels. Picture perfect prophecies, trying to find my angle. Hung up from a tree and they watch his body dangle. So the vengeance of the Lord coming down, you in danger.
They screaming peace when there ain't no peace. Israel prophesying in the streets. Look at me, the center of attention. Black Messiah coming with a vengeance. Coming with a vengeance. Black Messiah coming with a vengeance. They screaming peace, it ain't no peace.
Killing your career as a Christian, shed a tear. Jesus take the wheel, I'ma let the scripture steer. Joseph interpret dreams, but I don't think he could imagine it. See, to the last days, Jacob told him this would happen.
And we let loose, we some loose cannon. Pace saints on the scene, and this kingdom we commanded. Purple and gold, no LeBron James. With King Christ, we gon' see better days. Now you not free cause you got money, you a slave. The Most High on his throne, but holding all thy ways. They screaming peace when there ain't no peace. Israel prophesying in the streets. Look at me, the center of attention. Black Messiah, coming with a vengeance. Coming with a vengeance. Black Messiah, coming with a vengeance. They screaming peace, it ain't no peace. We prophesying in the streets.
Y'all already know what time it is. Check. Burn it, burn it, burn it. Burn it, burn it. You know he gon' burn it down. Turn it, turn it, turn it. Turn it, turn it. We gon' turn this world upside down. Burn it, burn it, burn it. Burn it, burn it. You know we gon' burn it down. Turn it, turn it, turn it. Turn it, turn it. We gon' turn this world upside down.
You know we gon' burn it down. Turn the world up and down. Why they won't hurt me now? Why they won't hurt me, hurt me? You know we gon' burn it down. Turn the world up and down. Why they won't hurt me now? Why they won't hurt me, hurt me?
No time to be simple, cause we getting real close to the end. Remember how Christ turned tables in the temple? Well, he coming back to turn tables again. Isaiah 6:15 said he coming with fire, and his chariots like a whirlwind. He don't want hugs and kisses, he want blood and vengeance for the way that you dealt with his kin. Sweet chariot, swing low. No more getting treated like a Negro. Right now, this is Esau's kingdom, but real soon we gon' take it like Debo. They won't even get a chance to surrender. Wave your white flag, we gon' burn it right with you. Better have fun right now, cause you up right now. But when Christ come, we gon' turn it upside down.
You know we gon' burn it down. Turn the world up and down. Why they won't hurt me now? Why they won't hurt me, hurt me? You know we gon' burn it down. Turn the world up and down. Why they won't hurt me now? Why they won't hurt me, hurt me?
Hey, we back. I read a couple of weeks ago about how Israel was broken. I read about that in Hosea 1. Not a people, gather them in one. Ezekiel 37, one shepherd, gather together. I read John 10, 15, and 16. When Christ mentioned the sheep, other sheep I had, now this fold, which we read earlier, he visited also on this side as well. John 11, 49, the 50. And then I read Isaiah 7, chapter 1 through 8, where it says, Ephraim will be broken, that it be not a people. That was Isaiah 7, verse 8. I'm going to say it one more time. I went through Hosea 1. This is like weeks ago. I went through Hosea 1 through 11, where he mentions Israel being broken, not a people. Not my people, no mercy. They'll become Gentiles. And they'll be gathered together in one, based upon verses 10 through 11. Then Ezekiel 37, verse 16 to 24. He would gather them together again, and they would have one shepherd and one sheep. He's called one shepherd in Ezekiel. He's called one head in Hosea. Then I went to John 10, 15 to 16, where Christ mentions the sheep. Other sheep I have now this fold. And then also priest Caiaphas in John 11, 49 to 50, where he called them the scattered nation. He called them the scattered ones, whatever. And I went to Isaiah 7, verse 1 through 8. Verse 8 says, broken that they be not a people. So now we're going to continue from there. In Isaiah 56, verse 8. We're going to get some more precepts on that. Somebody, Scarper, asked about, do we believe in Isaiah 11? Because they haven't been watching the show from the beginning. Black people. Isaiah 56, verse 8.
Deacon, we don't listen to black people.
We do not listen to black people. Because everything that comes, because you guys have mastered the art of being stupid.
Obviously got no lives on a Sunday.
Yeah, I guess not. Isaiah 56, verse 8.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 56, verse 8. Mm-hmm. The Lord God which gathered the outcasts of Israel saith.
The Lord God which gathered the outcasts of Israel. Go ahead.
Yet will I gather others to him.
He will gather others. To who the others? That's northern kingdom. Go ahead.
Besides those that are gathered unto him.
Who are gathered unto him? Southern kingdom. They had the temple, they had the priests, they had Jerusalem. They were already gathered to him. Others is northern kingdom. That were in the Americas, for the most part, and remnants of them that remain in other lands, and also in Jerusalem as well. Remnants. Now let's get Isaiah 11, verse 10.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 11, verse 10. And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, which shall stand for an ensign of the people.
Right, it's going into the Messiah. Go ahead.
To which shall the Gentiles seek.
To the Gentiles going into Israel. We're the Gentiles, they shall seek. Go ahead.
And his rest shall be glorious.
And his rest for them, the Gentiles, shall be glorious. Israel, go ahead.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time.
Again the second time, go ahead.
To recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros.
Lower Egypt, upper Egypt, Pathros, go ahead.
And from Cush.
Ethiopia.
And from Elam.
Iran, go ahead.
And from Shinar.
Shinar is Iraq.
And from Hamath.
Hamath is central Syria.
And from the islands of the sea.
Different islands of the sea that goes to the Indian Ocean and so forth, go ahead. Different islands, go ahead.
And he shall set up an ensign for the nations.
He shall set up an ensign for the nations or the Gentiles, back in verse 10. Go ahead.
And shall assemble the outcasts of Israel.
And shall assemble the outcasts of Israel. We read that in Isaiah 56. Go ahead.
And gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth.
And gather together the dispersed of Judah. The dispersed of both Israel and Judah from where?
The four corners of the earth.
From the four corners of the earth. So all 12 are scattered. Some of y'all are simple and say only Judah is scattered. Just stop talking, please. All 12 are scattered. That's what James says. All 12. To the 12 scattered abroad. You get Judah from. When you read Kings, it says Judah only is referring to the kingdom that was spared. When northern kingdom was conquered, Judah was spared. Then eventually Babylon came and scattered Judah also. Okay? Now, let's get page 228 from the View again. Page 228 from the View. This book is my favorite. because it has damn near everything in it. Page 228 from the View, and we're going to start at but and end at from the west.
But the object of this chapter is to examine and illustrate an interesting portion of ancient prophetic writing, which is thought to embrace this very concern. An address is found in the 18th chapter of the prophet Isaiah, which is apprehended to be of deep interest to America.
Mm-hmm.
It is a passage which has been esteemed singularly enigmatical.
Enigmatical, go ahead. Puzzling, go ahead.
This circumstance has usually attended the prophecies in proportion to the distance of their events.
So he's saying that there's a prophecy in Isaiah 18 that may allude to America. Remember we read earlier in that book about Columbus. Columbus had interest in two books in the Bible. Isaiah and Esdras were the books that inspired him to believe that there was land on this side of the world. Isaiah and Esdras. So if you denounce Esdras, he said, well, I believe in Isaiah too. That makes reference to America. Watch.
And they have often been left in silence, or their true intent misapplied, till near the time of their fulfillment. Then some incidents would throw light upon them and render their import plain and satisfactory.
Go ahead.
The writer was affected with this passage some years ago. When writing his dissertation on the prophecies, he found it to be an address to some Christian people of the last days, just at the time of the final restoration of God's ancient people. Addresses to such a people beheld in vision away over the mouths of the Nile, or in some region of the west. A call and solemn divine charge to them to awake and aid that final restoration.
Mm-hmm.
He then apprehended it might apply to Britain, though he felt the difficulty arising from the fact that Britain lies so far to the north of the direction specified in the address.
Mm-hmm.
It now appears to him far more probable that the Christian people of the United States of America are the subjects of the address, or at least are especially included in it.
Wait. So he says it now appears to him far more probable that the Christian people of the United States of America are the subjects of the address. That's not true. Or at least especially included in it. Go ahead.
To prepare the way for the consideration of the address, let several things be
premised. Watch
Sorry.
this.
Some of the greatest and best of divines have thought it would be strange if nothing should be found in the prophetic scriptures, having a special allusions to our Western world.
So would not be surprised if the Bible makes reference to the Western world, because everything that took place in the Bible primarily took place in the Old World. So it would not be surprising if there's certain prophecies alluding to the Western world, meaning America. Go ahead.
Which by propitious heaven was destined to act so distinguishing a part, both in the religious and political world in the last days.
Go ahead.
They have felt as though it might be presumed that some special allusions would be had in some of the prophetic writings, to so distinguishing a community of Zion and of men. Under this impression, Mr. Edwards apprehended this passage of Isaiah might allude to America.
What a passage of Isaiah might allude to America? Read it.
So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west.
They shall fear the name of the Lord from the west. Let's get Isaiah 59, verse 19.
Wow.
So Esau understood that the prophecies of Isaiah was alluding to the west. And Columbus came across that understanding also. Read that.
Isaiah chapter 59, verse 19.
That's why he said earlier that this address is either referring to the Christians or at least includes them. It's not including them at all. It's referring to the Israelites. Go ahead.
So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west.
That's this side of the world, America. Go ahead.
And his glory from the rising of the sun.
Because Israel's still in the east as well, Africa and other parts of the old world or known world. Go ahead.
When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him.
We're going to prophesy against the enemy wherever we are, whether on this side of the world or the other side of the world. But it says they shall fear the name of the Lord or plot or repent and learn the Bible, the word of God, who they are, in the west. That's this side of the world. And Columbus came across this because he studied Isaiah and Esdras. Now, let's go back. Let's get page 229. We're going to start at should it. We're going to start at should it.
Should it be proved a fact that the Aborigines of our continent are the descendants of the 10 tribes of Israel, it would heighten the probability to a moral certainty that we are the people especially addressed and called upon to restore them.
Now, Esau is saying that it's their job, Christians, to restore the Native Americans. So this guy wrote this, he's writing from a Christian perspective. But he's saying if these Native Americans are Israelites, it's our job as Christians to return them back to the word of God. Not the true word of God, but their word, Christianity. Go ahead.
Or bring them to the knowledge of the gospel, and to do with them whatever the God of Abraham designed shall be done.
Yeah, slavery. Go ahead.
The great and generous Christian people who occupy much of the land of those natives.
Right, the great and generous Christian people. It's from the white folks. They were not great and generous. Go ahead.
And who are on the ground of their continent, and hence are the best prepared to ameliorate their condition and bring them to the knowledge and order of the God of Israel, must, of course, be the people to whom this work is assigned.
This is Esau saying we're destined to teach these Native Americans who may be Israelites the gospel, since the Bible belongs to them anyway. It's only fair fitting that we, Christians, generous and good as we are, good-hearted as we are, bring them to the word of God. Bring them the gospel. Go ahead.
This one consideration would do much toward the decision of our question. Who is the nation addressed? Various things are found in the predictions of the restoration of God's ancient people, which strikingly accord with the ideal of a great branch of them being recovered from this land, and by the agency of the people of our states. A few of these shall be noted. In the 30th and 31st chapters of Jeremiah.
The 30th and 31st chapters of Jeremiah. Go ahead.
The prophet treats of the united restoration of Judah and Israel. These chapters were written about 120 years after the expulsion of the 10 tribes. And in relations to the 10 tribes, they have never yet had even a primary accomplishment.
They have not been accomplished. Israel has not been gathered together yet. Go ahead.
Or any degree of fulfillment.
Have not been fulfilled yet. Go ahead.
The restoration, they're predicted, is to be in the latter days.
So them being gathered together again, it's going to take place in the last days. Go ahead.
Chapter 30, verse 24. And at the time near the battle of the great day. See verses 6 through 8, 23 and 24.
That's so we stop right there. Stop right there. Get Jeremiah 30, verse 6 to 8.
Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 6. Ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble.
It's just soon to come. Go ahead.
But he shall be saved out of it.
Go ahead.
For it shall come to pass in that day.
In that day, go ahead.
Saith the Lord of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him.
We'll get our freedom. Go ahead, verse 9.
But they shall serve the Lord their God, and David their king.
David the king is Christ. Go ahead.
Whom I will raise up unto them.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord, neither be dismayed of, O Israel, for I will save thee from afar.
I will save you from afar. Go ahead.
And thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest.
We shall be where?
In rest.
Let's go back to Isaiah 11. And great shall be the glorious. They shall have glorious rest. I'm paraphrasing. I'm butchering it, but it mentions us receiving rest in Isaiah 11. Go ahead. As well as Isaiah 14. Go ahead.
And be quiet.
And we'll be quiet. We'll be at peace. Go ahead.
And none shall make him afraid.
Go ahead.
Verse 11.
No, jump to verse 23 and 24.
Verse 23. Behold, the whirlwind of the Lord goeth forth with fury, a continuing whirlwind. It shall fall with pain upon the head of the wicked. The fierce anger of the Lord shall not return until he have done it, and until he have performed the intents of his heart. In the latter days ye shall consider
In the
it.
latter days, so he's talking about us being delivered in the latter days. Israel being brought together in the latter days. Get page 229 now. Start at much of.
No, that's good. That's the page.
Page 229. Go to much of. We're going to start at much of.
Oh.
And end that, saith the Lord, Jeremiah 31. Page 229.
That's 229.
Hold on, I'm trying to find much of. With the 230. Let me see.
I think it was 2. I just seen it on 230.
Yeah, with the wrong page down. 230, much of?
Yeah, it's right
Yeah, right there. Much of the substance. I'm sorry.
That's good.
Gotta fix that.
Much of the substance of these chapters is appropriated to the 10 tribes of Israel, though Judah is expressly to be restored with them. Of the former, having then been outcast for 120 years, God says, chapter 31, verse 20, it is Ephraim, my dear son. Is he a pleasant child? For since I spake against him, or expelled him from Canaan, I do earnestly remember him still. Therefore my bowels are troubled for him.
Hold on. Much of, you start, said the Lord. Where you at?
Much of the substance of these chapters.
We're going to stop at, hold on. We're going to stop at, so said the Lord, Jeremiah 31, 20 to 21.
Jeremiah 31, chapter 20. Is Ephraim my dear son? Is he a pleasant child? For since I spake against him, I do earnestly remember him still. Therefore my bowels are troubled for him. I will surely have mercy upon him, saith the Lord. Set thee up waymarks.
That's all I want, 21. So,
No, 21. I didn't read 21 yet.
oh, 20, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Set thee up waymarks. Make thee high heaps. Set thine heart towards the highway, even the way which thou wentest.
Wait. 30, 20, and 21?
Well, you said Jeremiah 30 and 20?
30, see something. Hold on a second.
I thought you said 31.
Let me see it. 31 and 20. I'm trying to see that one. Hold on a second. Yeah, Jeremiah 31, 20 and 21.
Yes, I just finished verse 20. Want to read it again?
Yeah, read 21. Read it again.
Is Ephraim my dear son? Is he a pleasant child? For since I spake against him, I do earnestly remember him still. Therefore my bowels are troubled for him. I will surely have mercy upon him, saith the Lord.
That's all I want. Go back to it again. Where was that?
Is he a pleasant?
Yeah, right there's good. Is he a pleasant child? We just read that.
Right, yes, sir. Is Ephraim my dear son? Is he a pleasant child? For since I spake against him, or expelled him from Canaan, I do earnestly remember him still. Therefore my bowels are troubled for him. I will surely have mercy upon him, saith the Lord. The next verse invites and predicts his final restoration. These yearnings of divine compassion for Ephraim, one noted name of the 10 tribes, are the immediate precursor of his restoration. I will surely have mercy upon him, saith the Lord. Set the upway marks. Set the upway marks. Make thee high heaps. Set thine heart toward the highways. Turn again, O virgin of Israel.
That's all I want. So we just read that earlier. Get page 30, restoration. Yeah, stop right there. I'm moving fast. Get Zechariah 2:6. Zechariah 2:6 to 8. Zechariah 2:6 to 8.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 2, verse 6.
So the author's referring to Northern Kingdom being gathered together with Judah once again, the Southern Kingdom. Read that.
Ho, ho, come forth and flee from the land of the north, saith the Lord.
Babylon, America, go ahead. America, go ahead.
For I have spread you abroad as the four winds of the heaven, saith the Lord. Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, after the glory hath he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you. For he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye.
So he says, "O Zion that dwells with the daughter of Babylon." Zion is referring to Judah dealing with Babylon. Daughter of Babylon is Edom. All right, and that's what Judah was brought to first and foremost. So we dwelt the daughter of Babylon, and then eventually, of course, so that's just alluding to at this point. All 12 tribes, the majority of all 12 tribes are here in America are Babylon, but remnants of that 12 are scattered abroad. Get me page 232, and we're gonna start with Isaiah 11. In Isaiah 11 on page 232. So the author of this book is alluding to the prophecies of Isaiah, going back to gathering all the 12 tribes together as one, and how it's also alluding to America being biblical, being found in the Bible, as Columbus said and studied, and as well as Esdras. Isaiah 11, and we're going to end at page 233, had resided. In Isaiah 11, God promises. Go down. Right there. In Isaiah 11, right there.
In Isaiah 11, God promises this same restoration of Israel. But now, thus saith the Lord that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel. Fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name. Thou art mine. When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee. I have loved thee with an everlasting love. Therefore will I give men for thee, and people for thy life. Fear not, for I am with thee. I will bring thy seed from the east, and gather thee from the west.
From the west, go ahead.
I will say to the north, give up, and to the daughters from the ends of the earth. Thus saith the Lord, who maketh a way in the sea and a path in the mighty waters. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall ye not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. In Isaiah chapter 11.
That's what's going to start from there, but that's all right. Go ahead.
Sorry. In Isaiah chapter 11, in this wonderful restoration, Ephraim and Judah are both restored.
In this prophecy, Ephraim and Judah are both restored. Esau understands this. Go ahead.
The one from his dispersed.
The one from his what?
Dispersed.
The one from his dispersed state. Go ahead.
The other from his outcast state.
And the other from his outcast state. Watch this. Right. Watch this.
And their mutual envies are forever healed.
And their envies, their hatred towards each other is healed. Go ahead.
And the places from which they are recovered are noted.
And the places from which they are recovered or gathered from are noted. Go ahead.
Among which are.
Come on. We're going to stop at resided.
Among which are the isles of the sea, or lands away over the sea, and the four corners of the earth.
Watch this.
Certainly then, from America.
From where?
America.
Certainly then from America. Certainly then from America. It mentions the West. So Israel had to be over here, is what he's saying. And Columbus understood that. Go ahead.
This surely is one of the four corners of the earth, of such a land away over sea.
Such a land away over sea. Go ahead.
It is predicted. Isaiah.
I don't know, something verse 9.
Right.
Know what I noticed? You have I got to go back to the Negro.
Okay.
You got black people.
Mm-hmm.
You got black people that's refuting the validity of the Northern Kingdom, of the North tribes being the Latinos and Native American Indians.
Mm-hmm.
But you have Spaniards, you have the Spanish or you have kings and queens that finance one of the biggest voyage ever seen on this earth to the other side of the world to find the Northern Kingdom, the lost 12 tribes. Yes, Spanish explorers all documented this hundreds of years ago. Financed it, millions of dollars financed it, the conquest to North America by using the Bible to identify within the books who the Northern Kingdom is.
Where they be and where they be.
And where they be and what tribes they are. Then you have the black man. No books, no studies.
Right.
Just learn that he's Israel. Come and try to refute this information.
Mm-hmm.
You can't make this stuff up.
Now, I'm going to drop something heavy about the time. The bishops been bringing out over the past few weeks about the Spanish Inquisition, right? The Spanish Inquisition was a history based upon Esau pushing the Israelites out of Spain and Portugal, right? Either through forced conversion You follow Christianity. We're reading that right now about the Native Americans. It's our job to push them, to give them the gospel. We're reading that right now.
Yes, sir.
So that was the same thought process of King Ferdinand and Isabella and what's his name? Rodrigo Borgia, Pope Alexander VI of Rome. Their objective was to convert or forcefully convert or kill or exile all the Jews who refused to convert out of Spain and Portugal, right? Those of us who had enough money and power and wealth, they were able to escape into Africa and so forth and live their lives to an extent before they ran to the Arabs and got sold anyway. And got sold right back to the same people they ran from. Right? So when the white man of Spain and Portugal was forcefully targeting the Judaized Israelites, the ones who were keeping the commandments, they were attacking them. That Inquisition was to attack them. Right? So when Columbus told the crown, the same king and queen, that were responsible for the Inquisition in the old world, when Columbus said there's Israelites over there too. The Israelites in Spain and Portugal were wealthy and rich. So when Columbus told the king and queen that the Israelites are in America also, in the land on the other side of the world also, they said, well, you know what? If they're rich over here, they're going to be rich over there also. Go over there and forcefully convert them and enslave them over there, as you are doing, as we're doing, in this side of the world. You understand? So they were basically doing the same thing to the Native Americans on this side of the world that they were doing on the other side of the world. And the money that was used to fund Columbus's voyage was the money that they gathered from robbing our brothers and sisters in Spain and Portugal. That money funded the voyage to this side of the world. That's what I don't understand. Those histories interconnect. The Spanish Inquisition and eventually the trans-Saharan and transatlantic slave trade all tie back into the colonizing of this side of the world from the same exact king and queen. And then they brought the same Inquisition to this side of the world also, in Brazil and in Mexico. Because those same Israelites that fled from Spain and Portugal came over here also and were enslaved together with Native Americans. That's what I don't understand. So you keep on denying you don't know anything. Like Captain's saying, you don't know anything. You don't do your research, you don't know anything. Just sit back and just learn. So now, we're going to stop at resided. We're going to stop, I can't find the word resided. I know it's in here somewhere. I'm trying to find resided. I found it. Go ahead, keep going.
Go back up. This surely is one of the four corners of the earth, of such a land away over sea.
See that? This surely is one of the four corners of the earth. Go ahead.
It is predicted in Isaiah chapter 60, verse 9. Surely the isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first are a power expert in navigation to bring my sons from far.
Go ahead.
And Zechariah's prophecy is the same thing. This prophet was sent to encourage in the rebuilding of Jerusalem and the temple soon after the return from Babylon.
Yeah, wait. As this prophecy of return was to exhibit a prophet, what was that? Zechariah? Read it again, read it one more time.
And Zechariah's prophecy is the same thing.
And Zechariah's prophecy is the same thing. Go ahead.
This prophet was sent to encourage in the rebuilding of Jerusalem and the temple soon after the return from Babylon.
Go ahead.
As this return was to exhibit a primary fulfillment of the many prophecies of the restoration of the Hebrews, which are clearly to have their ultimate accomplishments in their restoration, just anterior to the millennium. So Zechariah clearly predicted the latter. Go up.
The latter event.
Move it up. The latter event, and said various things peculiar to it. Chapter 2, verse 6. Ho, ho, come forth and flee from the land of the north.
We just read that. Go ahead.
For I have spread you abroad as the four winds of the heaven.
Including America's part of the four winds. Go ahead.
Saith the Lord. This must allude to the great dispersion of Judah.
The four winds of heaven. This alludes to the dispersion of who?
Allude to the great dispersion of Judah.
Isaiah 11, Judah, go ahead.
An outcast state of Israel.
And the outcast state of Israel, go ahead.
Which strewed them over the face of the earth.
Go ahead.
And could not have been fulfilled in the Babylonian captivity.
It could not have been fulfilled during Babylon. So it's referring to now, them being scattered over here now. This is a book written in 1825.
Man, this book crazy, Deacon.
Yo.
Esau understands Zechariah 2 and 6 is future prophecy. It was not at that time.
Yo, D, you don't even need any
now.
other book. You just read that one book
It's
for the whole
now.
our history.
Now. It's referring to now. Go ahead.
Wow.
Verse, which did not disperse them to all points of the compass.
Which Babylon didn't disperse them to all points of the world.
Verse 8. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, after the glory have he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you. This must be the same with the various predictions, which speak of the battle of the great day as a display of God's glory.
That's the king that's referring to the last days, not Babylon. Go ahead.
And which speak of a subsequent going forth of missionaries, probably Jewish.
Yeah, us. These don't think it's referring to him. It's referring to us. Go ahead.
To convert the nations where the Hebrews have resided. See Isaiah.
Yeah, something.
Yeah. I think it's 60. Yeah, it's 66, I believe.
Isaiah 60 what? 66?
Yeah, 66.
Verse 18 and 21.
Verse 18 to 21.
And verses 10 to 11. Go ahead.
Verses 10 to 11. Sing and rejoice, O daughter of Zion, for lo, I come, and I will dwell in the midst of thee, saith the Lord. And many nations shall be joined to the Lord in that day, and shall be my people. And I will dwell in the midst of thee. Many nations were not joined to the Jews upon their return from Babylon.
They were not. Go ahead.
Nothing of this prediction then took place.
This never it didn't happen at that time. Go ahead.
It predicted an event still future to be accomplished upon the restoration of the Hebrews to Palestine. The prophet then says...
No, these going too fast. Those was up and resided. That's all. We're going
Sorry.
too far ahead. It's all right. Where we at? Let's get Zechariah 8 and 3. Zechariah 8 and 3.
I want to real quick bring something out, Deacon.
Yeah.
Can you put that on the screen? No, it's not.
No, I'm good, Cat. I'm good, man. I'm just chilling.
No, it's just to no, it's not. Jez, I'm gonna leave you alone today.
All praise.
I was gonna put a picture of you up, but I forgot.
I felt bad.
Not you, deep man.
I felt
Not
bad.
man.
You know, I felt bad. You know, I said I can't keep doing this. Like brothers, just I don't know. Brothers might like like playing a cool against me or something, try to overthrow me or something.
Yo, I don't trust this at all, man. But
Nah. It's nothing about you, Jez. Not today. I would have done a lot smoother.
Yes, you did, yes.
Now, this is what Deacon was making reference to earlier. Can you blow it up? Yes, sir. And this has to be to do with the whole financing of Columbus coming over here, and Pope Alexander VI of Rome. Not known, like you said, Pope Alexander. What you're gonna realize, the Pope had power over everyone.
Over the crown too.
He had power over the crown. He had power over the military. He had power over everything.
Finances, all of that.
Finance, because Christopher Columbus could not come to the side of the world without a reasonable explanation of what's over here, the distance, and why is he making his travels. And he had to get the authorship from the Pope. You can't go without the Pope's authority.
Right.
Where it says, in wake of Columbus landing.
in the wake of, we'll blow it up some, brothers? All right, thank you. In the wake of Columbus landing in the New World, Pope Alexander was asked by the Spanish monarchy to confirm their ownership of these newly found lands. The bulls issued by Pope Alexander the sixth. Sorry. Yeah, that's Latin.
Yeah.
I'll skip down a couple. Granted, let me read it. I'm sorry. May the 3rd, 1493.
Okay, yeah, 1492. That's after Columbus's voyage.
Yes, sir. May 1493 and September 1493.
Uh-huh.
Granted rights to Spain with respect to the newly discovered lands in the Americas, similar to those Pope Nicholas V had previously conferred.
That was in Bishop's class recently in Shout Out Tuesdays about Pope Nicholas V. Okay, and go ahead.
Had previously conferred on Portugal with the bulls, Romanus Pontifex, and Diversis, Morales Pedron, 1979. Concludes that these bulls gave power to enslave the natives.
Wow. So it was the power and authority given by Pope Alexander. What you're going to realize, Pope Alexander VI was a demon. He was behind the mass enslavement of the natives and a mass conversion of the North American Indians. Columbus had to present, listen, this is what I found in the scriptures. This is the studies I have. These are where the Israelites are located. He brought back the information to the New Foreign World, and when they came back to the Americas, they didn't only come back with They didn't just come back with nothing. They came back with gold treasures as well as with slaves. They brought some of the natives, the Arawakan Indians, they brought them back to Portugal.
Yes, they did.
To Seville, Spain.
Seville, yes.
They bought about 900 Arawakan Indians. Why they bring them back? They had to show proof, evidence of the natives being over there.
They refer to them as curios, like curious, like curios. That was a term for them, curios, like odd things.
So once it was finalized that these are the Israelites, what did he do after that?
Morales Pedro in 1979 concludes that these bulls gave power to enslave the natives.
Go on.
Minnick 2010 asserts that this slave trade was permitted to facilitate
This what? What was it called? This what?
This slave trade.
The slave trade.
Slave
Deuteronomy
trade. 28.
Yes, it is. Go ahead.
Was permitted to facilitate conversions to Christianity.
That's converso. Same thing they did to the Jews in that side of the world, did to them on their side of the world.
Same thing. The whole thing, that goes back to Revelation chapter 13.
Yep.
And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. Who's the he?
Yep, right, him. And his son is
him.
His son is the one that's depicted as Jesus Christ.
So the whole purpose, can I get that real quick?
Yeah, get it.
The whole purpose of the enslavement of the North American Indians and the natives on the Western Hemisphere was a mass conversion to, like I said, the bishop brought out yesterday, the American captivity or the captivity under the New Babylon. Whole purpose was to wipe out the existence or any recognition of us being the Israelites.
Yes.
And that was the whole purpose of how they do it, through mass enslavement and mass conversion to
religious conversion, right?
Religious conversion.
Forced religious conversion and enslavement.
And along with iconoclasm.
Right, that too.
Read that real quick. This demon right here was behind the whole thing.
Yep.
Read that.
We have Revelation 13, Cap.
Yep, verse 13. And Deacon, I sent you some pictures, something to you, what's the name? Somebody posted up of the tortures that they did to us in the Inquisition.
Oh, I'm going to that later on.
I think it's wicked as hell.
I'm gonna go over that later on.
I'm gonna memorize that.
I'm gonna touch on that.
Yeah,
stuff.
we're gonna memorize that and we'll do the same to Esau.
I'm going into that stuff later on in the series. I got all of that. Go ahead.
The book of Revelation.
But I'll take more of the information you sent to. I'll take it. 13 to verse
15.
Yeah.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 15.
No, start from verse 12.
Verse 12. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed.
Rome. Yeah.
And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
Because Rome later on became America, but America is an extension of Rome. And they pushed the exact same idolatrous Christianity practices that they pushed against us in Spain and Portugal, and in Africa, as well as over here. Go ahead.
And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they shall make an image to the beast.
That's Pope Alexander VI of Rome made an image to the beast. His son, Pope Alexander VI of Rome. Go ahead.
Which had the wound by sword and did live.
Because Rome fell and eventually was reborn during the Renaissance. And the Renaissance is around 1400s. Go ahead.
And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast.
That goes back to Alexander VI of Rome again. Go ahead.
That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image.
Whoever would not worship the image of Caesar Borgia, Pope Alexander VI of Rome's son. Go ahead.
Of the beast should be killed.
Should be what?
Killed.
Should be killed. Should be killed. And they did that. They killed us, tortured us, all that in the Inquisition. And they brought the Inquisition to this side of the world and killed the Native Americans on this side of the world. The exact same thing to the exact same people.
So, Deacon, that's the slave trade was permitted to facilitate conversions to Christianity. That's the should be killed that would not worship the image of the beast.
Should be killed.
That's that section right there. That's that demon right there. He fulfilled that prophecy.
Yep. Keep going. Keep reading the rest of it.
Asserts that this slave trade was permitted to facilitate conversions to Christianity. Other historians and Vatican scholars strongly disagree with these accusations and assert that Alexander never gave his approval to the practice of slavery.
That's a lie. He did.
Other later popes, such as Pope Paul III in Sublus Deus, 1537.
Yeah, it's nothing else.
That's it.
Continue to. They're trying to cover their ass now.
Mm-hmm.
He did. He was very much involved in that. Go back to Zechariah now. We're almost done. Zechariah 8.
See, Jess?
All praises. Yep.
I just want you to know I'm not against you.
All praises.
You're my
Thank
brother.
Zechariah 8.
Judah and Israel.
I'm glad to see that.
2
Cap.
sticks.
This Sunday, right?
Well, you know we're not gonna have time, so give me that picture real quick, the image real quick of the Native American. Did you show me, Myron? Real quick, just to show again the Native. I want to share something real quick. That's a Native right there. That is a go down, go to the bottom.
That's a Myron.
No. Well, it is a Myron. Yeah, it could
That's
be
a
him.
Myron when he was 9 years old. No hair in his face, no hair in his chest.
Man. Blow it up. Go to him again. Go to his face again.
No shoes.
Go up again. Okay. See his face there. Now go.
Yo, put the camera on him real quick. That's a Myron.
Oh man. Go down. Go down. See what he says about him. Blow it up. What does it say there? This is a Carib Indian, real quick. Carib Indian.
That's good. Carib Indian.
On the Orinoco River, it says.
Orinoco River, 1890s. Owner statement on Wiki. This image was on an ancient postcard among a number of papers I inherited from my father.
He inherited from his father. Go ahead.
Dr. Alfred Edward Ted Hill, after his death in 2004. The old postcard simply has Carib Indian Orinoco River 1890s printed on the reverse. The river is in Venezuela and Colombia. There is no other information with it. Note, other artifacts indicate that the original Carib and Arawak Indians of the Caribbean were black.
Right. Where they gotta get that part again?
Other artifacts indicate that the original Carib and Arawak Indians of the Caribbean were black. Not Mongol people.
Not what?
Not Mongol people.
Not Mongol people. They were not Asian. He was not Chinese. It looked like black people on this side of the world. Their features varied. All right? So they had the Carib Indians that passed for black. Not Mongol people. I'm gonna give you another example. Of them being black and not Mongol.
That's the same height as Soldier Amman. Same height.
Yeah. Lineage.
That's your family right there.
Not that one.
Damn it.
I'm about to pay to get them.
Right there.
Go down.
Go down. You missed it. Go
down, man. Go the other way, man.
Right there. Put that up. It's a picture.
If there's anyone out there that know how to remove these pictures from the group,
That's a picture of a black Carib. It's a picture of a black Carib.
just hit the comment board or hit me directly.
Oh, man.
Picture of a black Carib right there. Black Carib. So that's how he look. All right, so let's put that out there. We're going to stop right there.
That wasn't me, Jez. That was not me.
We're going to take a, it's a wrap. We're going to wrap it up here. We're going to wrap it up.
Somebody hit the comment board ASAP.
It's just don't curse the water when we go fishing, man. Everybody's laughing, right?
Yo, man.
That's what they were converting in, under Pope Alexander. They were converting people just like this. All right, black Caribs. All right, so we're going to end up on that for now because I got way more. It's still in the promise. It's still in the promised land. This is long. Likewise, it'll be long when I go back to the other side of the world. So, hope y'all enjoyed the class. Shout outs to the IT team that did an excellent job. Shout outs to the breakfast team. Sisters did a great job as usual. Excellent breakfast this morning. Cap.
Oh, all praise to the Most High, Deacon. All praise to the Most High. Let's give the Most High a round of applause and using Deacon, his prophet, to deliver this excellent message. As usual, like I said, we thank you very much for your support. Continue to support us. Support the Booster Club at IUIC.fundraising at IsraelUnite.org. Support the Booster Club at IUIC.fundraising at IsraelUnite.org. So to help us to get to the four corners of the earth, to administer the kingdom of heaven. In addition, donate to our True Hidden History channel to help us and to upgrade our equipment. Also, to purchase the books that we cannot get. And if you'd like to donate to the Captain Joel Book Club book fund, there are a couple books that have not yet purchased as of yet because of financial hardship. So because of the government doesn't want to give us the stimulus check, I am behind a couple books. So if you want to contribute to my stimulus bill, then donate to IUIC.NewJersey at IsraelUnite.org. Put in the details. Captain Joel's financial hardship book from stimulus check 2.0.
Yeah.
All right?
Yo, Cap be so sincere about that thing, man.
Oh, man.
I'll tell you, there's a couple more books. I almost caught up. I'm almost there now. It's a couple more books I'm behind on. I need to get them.
All praises, man.
All praises to the Most High, but all praises Israel. Yes, with that, we say shalom.
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 All right, shalom.
Most High
Israel.
Christ bless.
Most High Christ
Most High
bless.
Christ bless.
Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know it? History, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know it? History, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know it? History, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know it? History, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know it? History, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know it? History, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way back. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. We the chosen people, you say no way. Enemies are teaching you the wrong way. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Do you know it? History, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you know it? History, yeah. Do you know it? Do you know it? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Searching for the road to the way back. We don't know our father's going way